fellas, let's get ready to rock and roll. Be patient, be aggressive, just everything you can. Green flag, green flag, green flag, green flag, green flag.
Hot, slick, Phoenix Raceway. It's the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series on Fox, presented by Polaris Ranger. A very unique 1 mile oval with a big dog leg in the back straightaway. And here is today's starting lineup. Fords on the front row, Joey Logano and Wood Brothers Ryan Blaney. Row 2, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kyle Larson, both in Chevrolets. Jamie McMurray, Brad Keselowski, a Chevy and a Ford, then Chase Elliott and the fastest Toyota, Eric Jones. And how about we dial up our 4th place starter?
Sounds like a great idea. Kyle Larson, Jeff Gordon up the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Jeff.
Man, you have been running so good. It's been so impressive to watch up here. But what do you got to do to just get those finishing touches to complete the deal and get some wins?
Well, right now I got to try not to run the back of the pace car up here, but yeah, we've been strong to start the season, and had some solid runs. So it's been good to get these second places. Obviously, it'd be nice to get a win, but we got to just keep doing what we're doing, not make mistakes, and keep challenging, and hopefully the wins will come.
You know, we've seen where restarts have been making the difference for not only you and other competitors, and restarts here just seem to be so hectic. What are you anticipating is going to happen here today on these restarts?
Yeah, this place is one of the most intense places to restart at. I feel like it's so narrow. Then you get up here to turn 3, and there's lots of options later in the race to go all the way down to the apron or up here to the top side. So just got to be aggressive, be smart. Try to make as little of the mistakes as I can today, especially on the restarts and off pit road, and try and get a good finish.
All right, well, thanks a lot. Have a great race. We're looking forward to watching.
Thanks a lot.
All right, we're going to go down to pit road. Let's stay hydrated down there. First to Vince Welch.
Thank you, Mike. The 22 of Joey Logano, they are very confident today. They believe they have the long run speed that's going to be necessary to win stages and stay in contention at the end of the race. And they believe they've got the short run speed you're going to need to actually win the race. No shortage of confidence from the 22. We'll see if today is their day. Matt?
Vince, teams have already oversaturated and will continue to apply soda syrup on these slick pit boxes here in Phoenix. You'll also see blowers like this during the race being used to blow off all that heavy brake dust on their pit boxes. Brad Keselowski's team, they may have the biggest advantage of all because they pit practice indoors on very slick concrete. Jamie Little?
Well, Kevin Harvick is the winningest driver here in Phoenix with 8 wins, but so far this weekend, we haven't seen that typical performance out of the Ford team. Kevin has really been struggling with getting that car to turn, that feel he's looking for. They've thrown everything at it, and it hasn't made a dent. Kevin's starting mid-pack today in hopes that race pace will play into his hands. Larry Mack?
Jamie, for the crew chiefs, it's a very short race. What that means, not many opportunities to make adjustments, so every adjustment has to be the right adjustment. The weather, Chris Meyer said it, Mike Joyce said it, just plain hot. Let's take a look at the race analysis now. Our stages, it's interesting, short 2 stages, 75, 75, and then the last one, 162. Pit road speed 45 miles per hour. The fuel window could be a factor in that final stage, 85 to 95 laps. And Mike, the grip level of this old racetrack, she's a 4.
Thanks, Larry. Eric Almirola changed an engine, so he goes to the rear. Denny Hamlin qualified 19th, but they found a screw in his tire after round 1, so he could not continue. They've aired that tire up. He did run in round 2, couldn't continue, and because he had to change that tire before starting the race on the tires you qualify on, Hamlin has to drop to the rear.
Setting up as an interesting start here, Mike, as you look at the 22. He's taking the outside lane. That looked like the way to go in practice. It looked like he was going to get a lot of momentum down into the corner and up off of 2.
You know, DW, when I think of this race, you just don't have time to make mistakes. We heard Kyle Larson talk about that. This is a short race. Things happen in a hurry. really tight racing action, and they've got to get after it and do it right from the beginning.
Here's your Pole Sitters Radio, Joey Logano.
Good luck at it, guys. Let's have a smooth, clean race here. See what we know how to do. End up a victory lane like last time right here.
Well, Mike, she's hotter than a pepper sprout out there. They're coming down here to get the green flag, get this baby started. Flagman's got the flag, green flag in here. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Oh, let's go racing. Drivers!
Big wiggle by the 21 of Ryan Blaney. Going to drop back here a few spots. And now he's in the outside. Can he make it stick outside? Dale Earnhardt Jr. right here.
Earnhardt took advantage.
Slides up the racetrack as
did
well.
Did they touch?
Yikes. I think they did a little.
And here comes Keselowski on the bottom for third.
This is just lap 1.
Well, the track is really, really hot, and it doesn't have any grip in it right now, and these tires are on low pressure. You're going to see the cars move around quite a bit for the first 3 or 4 laps. Things will tighten up here, just like you see the 21. He fights himself back into third place. Had a little problem on that start, but looks like the car is coming back around for him.
Look at Junior get a big run. Going to go underneath the 2-car, Brad Keselowski. I've always felt this is one of the toughest racetracks to get the green flag on, not especially on a day like today where it's hot and slick. Almost in contact right there with Dale Earnhardt Jr., Brad Keselowski. But this track just doesn't have a lot of grip in it for the first couple laps on these fresh tires. I think Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car is turning really good. That might pay off for him on the long run, but definitely stepping the back out here early in this race.
Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch trying to fight their way up through 12th place. And Denny Hamlin flying up through the back of the field.
There's somebody else that's flying.
Yep, Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch up on the outside.
I know where he's going. I know what he's looking for. It's yellow, and I ain't talking about a flag either.
Eric Jones 9th, bracketed between Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth. And here's Denny Hamlin. He's up 9 positions. Jeffrey Earnhardt smoking down on the apron, makes it to pit road, straight to the garage. The first retiree.
Boy, that didn't take long.
No, and it's not taking Denny Hamlin long to move up through the back of the field, too. It's going to get a little harder as he gets further forward.
Yeah, he'll get up to about 15th, then it gets tough sledding from there.
You saw Eric Almirola moving with him from the back. Here is 9th place, Eric Jones, Kenseth, Kane, and Johnson.
You're going to see a lot of that. Cars drop down on the apron to cut off as much of the track length as possible to get a move like this made, like you saw with Matt Kenseth moving inside Eric Jones.
I wonder how big this track is when you cut the apron and run on the apron in turns 3 and 4. You've cut a lot of distance off of this 1-mile racetrack.
Yeah, it's about 3/4.
About 3/4 of a mile by the time you get it all done.
Some great racing here already early on. See Jimmy Johnson moves inside of Casey Kane, his teammate.
Just so hard to get under somebody and complete the pass off too. That outside lane has so much momentum down the back.
See how he uses that apron even down here in 3 and 4. Really hooks the bottom of the track, makes that pass.
Ooh, and that feels so good when those left sides grab onto that paint.
No out of bounds here. That yellow line is just for reference. No penalty. If you go below, you won't see it much in 1 and 2. You'll see it all day in the dogleg and in 3 and 4.
Got to be careful in that dog leg, though. With these cars, no ride height. They're right on the ground. You can damage that splitter or bottom something out and really do a little damage. So you got to use that wisely.
Now we talk about who's moving forward, but I'll tell you who's not been moving forward very fast, and that's Kevin Harvick.
Well, they've just been, they've admittedly been off all weekend. They just have not had the speed, didn't qualify well. They've been changing the car every day. It's going to be interesting to see if they got the setup under that needs to get up front.
I think Kevin's so good here. He just knows this place so well. He's got a knack for it, the team as well. And I just think at the end of the day, he's still going to be there.
Wow, Kyle Busch went way up the hill in turn 3, and Chase Elliott took advantage.
Well, he did. He got into 3, Mike, and it looked like he lost the car a little bit, washed way up high in the loose stuff, and the 24 capitalized.
Yeah, and then the 18 capitalized back. He turned the corner in the middle of 3 and 4, got a big run, got back underneath him and by Chase Elliott.
7th place. Denny Hamlin moving past Landon Castle. And that'll pick Hamlin up to 29th.
Denny's going inside, outside, 3 wide, any which way he can get by those cars.
2 quasi-teammates, Brad said in pre-race. Ryan Blaney's Wood Brother team, the 21. They get their cars, most of their pit crew and technical support from Roger Penske's team, who Brad drives for.
Doesn't matter whether you have a teammate or not. You want to prove you're the best. You're the best on that team. You're the best Ford. You're the best Chevy, Toyota. You want to be the best.
Well, I'll tell you what I saw right there, Brad Keselowski. He looks like he's the best car through turns 1 and 2. The way that car hugged the bottom line and rolled through the center and shot up off the corner.
It's such a good feeling when you come off the corner right there off of turn 2 and that thing just squats and goes. That's a good feeling, man.
13th place. Martin Truex in the 78 trying to worry Kurt Busch out of 13th place.
And you bring up a really good point there, Mike. Sometimes that's how you make passes materialize. You get in their mirror. You get them focused on you instead of what they're doing. Make a little mistake, opens up the door.
Always told me when you're looking back, you're losing time.
12 laps complete in Phoenix. Tony La Russa on top of Joey Logano's pit stop. Had to add a little support. 17 laps complete. Joey Logano leading in his Ford. Here's today's Ford Performance Track Facts. Hall of Fame nominee and NASCAR's last owner driver champion Alan Kulwicki won the inaugural Phoenix race here in 1988. His first win as well. Davey Allison went back-to-back in 1991 and 92. A couple of great moments here. Joey Logano lapping past Timmy Hill. There's Kyle Larson,
Mike,
just 1.1 back.
We've talked a lot about heat, and the ambient temperature is obviously very high, 95 degrees. We're worried a lot about brake heat. The brake heat that these cars are generating. I know Jeff is worried a little bit about the beads on the tire.
That's what I was going to say, DW. What happens with brake temp is that right front shoulder and bead on the wheel, especially left front and right front, if they overheat the brakes, because these cars just aren't slowing down in these temperatures with a smaller rear spoiler the way they used to. So that means you got to use more brake. I hope the teams have opened up those openings for those ducts to keep those brakes and keep that shoulder cool today. Wow, look at this, 136 degrees inside this car.
When the race started, it was 110 degrees. Now imagine if that thermometer was down near the floorboards where all those exhaust pipes generate all that heat.
And if you want to know what that feels like, fans, I don't think it's 95 degrees anywhere else in the country right now. But on a hot day, roll your windows up and turn your heater on and ride around for a couple hours. See how you feel.
Do we have one of those for our booth? Ryan Blaney.
We don't have room for it.
No, not here in the bunker.
I've been watching Ryan Blaney, and they've just missed the setup here at the beginning of this race a little bit. He dropped back right at the start, and he's been holding on to it, but getting past, and they're going to have to really tune up this car, make some adjustments on that next pit stop.
Blaney back to the inside of the lap car. Jamie McMurray closing in. Larry Mack, in past years, we might say at Phoenix, some of these drivers are going to ride and make adjustments on the first pit stop. But under the new stage racing format, if we stay green, is that stop going to come before the end of stage 1?
It will not, Mike, as I documented in the race analysis. The fuel window here is 85 to 95 laps. That's what I love about this stage racing. Our first 2 stages are only 75 laps. I think that's why we see these guys up on the wheel. They know they can make it to the end of stage 1 pretty much without stopping.
Yeah, and you can't stop under green. If you do, you'll lose a lap or more, and that's just not good. That's not acceptable with these stages.
Second place.
Yeah, here's who I've been watching, and Kyle Larson's been looking in his mirror watching as well, as Brad Keselowski's really closed in on him. You see Brad puts his hand out the window. At this point right now, Kyle Larson pretty much just gave up that pass. Wasn't worth it to fight it at this moment.
Same thing here at 5th place, where Jamie McMurray moves into 5th. How do you make that decision to say, oh, just go ahead, I'll get you later?
Well, to me, if you've looked in your mirror and that car has run you down over the last 5 laps from a half a straightaway back, they're a lot faster. I'd rather fall in behind them, take less time away from what's happening on track, get behind them, see if I can't learn something from them.
Sure. Mike, the way these guys race today, if you don't get out of my way, I might have to move you out of my way.
9th place, Jimmy Johnson, 7 seconds back. Matt?
Gained 5 spots since the start of the race, Mike. And Jimmy told me that in qualifying, he could not tighten up his car enough. Balance balance is way too free. Once they switched over to the race setup, though, he said the balance was near perfect. He loved it. He said Sunday is going to be a fun drive, and right now it looks like it is.
I tell you what, Matt, that car is hooked up. I love the way his lap times are trending. He's the fastest car on the track the last couple of laps. He's got a good groove around the racetrack. I keep my eye on the 48 all day long.
He is lapping exactly as fast as the leader, Michael, 28.05. The only other driver right there with them is Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 4th place. We're at 13th. Matt Kenseth has given up a few positions here as Ryan Newman, who started 22nd in the 31 Chevrolet, moves to the front.
Good looking ride, though. I like that, baby.
You know, Kenseth's shown a lot of speed all weekend long. This has kind of caught me off guard, and probably that team as well. They've been really, really good.
Let's listen in on Brad Keselowski's spotter, Joey Meyer, in 2nd place.
Early on, referencing car in front and behind, we make up most of our ground center and off of 4. Really strong through there, like the first part of the hour. See Larson moving around already.
In the dogleg, 3 cars were battling for position, and I believe Reed Sorensen got into the hard luck story of this season, Corey LaJoie. The rookie was in a group of cars racing Sorensen for 34th place. A lead lap car was coming up on them. Big battle there, and let's show you what happened. But there was contact.
Yeah, you see the
entering the dogleg.
Side the 83 car coming down in back here in the dogleg.
Wow, that's really strange how he got loose.
That thing just turned and went up the hill.
I mean, that's an awkward place for the car to get loose.
No.
I'm wondering if there's something else that happened.
We're late with it. There was contact coming into the dogleg that precipitated LaJoie going into the wall.
Okay, yeah, so
he got turned.
Yeah, he probably could have got clipped maybe in the right rear, and as he got to the dogleg, he was trying to gather back up and turn him into the outside wall.
And corrected, those were all lead lap cars that were battling right there. And at least Reed Sorensen and Corey LaJoie involved at lap 27. First caution flag of the day. Pit road's open. Here comes everybody on the lead lap, Matt.
And Brad Keselowski's team up on the wall, waiting to pit the 2 car. Junior's team has a signboard out. Dale says the car, the same as it was all day Saturday in practice. Way too free when he tries to get back in the gas, and just too tight down in turn 3. Vince.
Kyle Larson, bottom left of your screen. The car's just been a little bit too loose on entry, struggling from center to exit as well. 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment. Joey Logano says he's loose on entry, but it's turning pretty well. That's a good sign early on. It's a 4-tire change for the 22 as well.
Logano, the pole sitter, has that advantage of pit box number 1.
That is such an advantage. Huge advantage.
I mean, he easily got off pit road first.
And disappointment for Brad Keselowski on the first pit stop of the day.
Get that left rear tire off.
Get that off there.
31 laps to go. Here's today's AARP Keys to the Drive.
We're already seeing over 130 degrees inside these race cars. The drivers are going to need to keep a level head and stay cool. When you're battling hard for position, fatigue and exhaustion sets in, it's really easy for emotions to get the best of you. You got to have a lot of drive off to get an advantage over your competitors, and that's going to be the key to passing on this 1-mile track. And we're talking a lot about taking care of brakes, but also need to catch a break. In the first 3 races of 2017, race winners caught a break or capitalized on someone else's misfortune or mistake to grab that victory.
That's right. The fastest car has not always won. 3 wide, back straightaway, 6th place.
Kyle Busch down on the flat going down into the dogleg there, and I think he made a couple of passes doing it.
Yes, he did. Took advantage of Ryan Blaney there. And as they come to the line, pops up in 7th.
Kyle Busch is so aggressive on the restarts. He just goes where people aren't.
Keselowski on the high side now. Jamie McMurray inside. Keselowski 3rd, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting passed by Busch on the outside for 6th.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing that outside groove on these restarts. There's a big benefit to that.
Well, Kyle's passed inside and outside since they dropped the green flag
Just
for
give
the
me a
second
lane.
time.
Just pick a lane. I'll take the other one.
Blaney drops in line behind Earnhardt.
And I think Kyle Busch is motivated, Mike. I think Jeff mentioned that he wants to get up there. He may want to get up there and get in that mirror of that 22 car if he can. We saw Alter in practice that 22 and the 18 were the two best cars. 22 seemed a little better on the shorter runs, but the 18 really good on the longer runs.
A.J. Allmendinger down to the inside. Almirola just getting past. You get a good idea how slick this racetrack is, as these cars are loose in and loose off.
Yeah, and Mike, those little bumps, when you run up behind somebody and tap them, that's like a horn. That's basically you're saying, dude, I want to get by you, and I appreciate you get out of my way now.
You know, one of the reasons why I think the outside is a preferred lane on these restarts, it's not because there's a lot more grip on the outside. It's just you're loosening up the car on the inside of you. They can't hold the bottom. They're putting more wheel into it, and it's making the back end step out. So once you get a couple laps, you got to get back down to the bottom.
Kurt Busch had a tough day last week in his hometown of Vegas. He's currently 14th. Jamie.
Well, this is a repeat, it looks like, of last Sunday, Mike. Kurt Busch just radioed about 3 laps ago that he's having voltage issues. He said it's dropped to 11.8 volts. It's flashing. Remember last week he ended up burning up an alternator, was able to hang on till the end, but he thinks he's got an alternator going again. We're keeping our eyes on the 41.
And they will burn him up today. If he has to turn those fans off and that blower to his helmet and all off, they will burn that driver up. So I don't know how long this will last.
Yeah, I don't think there's any track where we're going to see more load on the alternator, on the battery than here because of all the electronics. But all those blowers, when it's this hot, they've got to keep the wheel, got to keep the brakes cool, got to keep the driver cool. If they have to shut those things off, there's a lot of problems are going to come.
9th place, Jimmie Johnson in the 48. Underneath Eric Jones, the rookie. Jones had a tough day yesterday in the Xfinity race.
Certainly not slowing Kurt Busch down right now. He's jumping to the outside, possibly here of the 31 and Newman. Yeah, the squeeze right down in between the 31 and Matt Kenseth. You saw Kenseth possibly getting to the inside.
You see a number of drivers give the wave out the window, or the, you know, not a point by, but a thank you after the pass, and give somebody a lot of extra room. Don't expect that from Ryan Newman. He races you hard every lap.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Ryan is just one of the toughest guys out there to pass. He races you hard. He knows how important track position is, and he doesn't give you an inch. A lot of people said, for some reason, that 31 car is wider than the rest of the cars out there.
No, he just drives it that way.
I've heard it explained a lot of different ways.
Furniture Row Racing, 10th and 11th. Vince.
Well, the 77 of Eric Jones has lost a couple of positions from the start, but they've actually, the issue for them hasn't been on track through this early stage of the season. The issue has been in pit road. Last week in Las Vegas, over 15 spots lost on pit road. No changes to the crew this week. They say, we believe in our guys, but they had extra practice, and there was an extra meeting between Coach Joe Gibbs and also the pit crew coach. So keep an eye on the 77 on pit lane today as much as you do out on track.
Remember, their Furniture Row not part of Joe Gibbs Racing, but they have a very deep technical alliance, parts and pieces, and even though Furniture Row is building their own cars, those two teams are very closely aligned.
They all debrief together.
43 laps complete. Joey Logano, our pole sitter, out in front in Phoenix. Welcome back to Phoenix, part of NASCAR Goes West, presented by Toyota. The Estrella Mountain, the Gila River is full of water, and this desert has never, to me, looked as green in the spring as it is today. Spring is blooming all over here. With 27 laps to go in stage 1, Joey Logano has led all but one of them during the caution flag. Reed Sorensen stayed out and led a lap before pitting. Otherwise, it's been all Logano.
This is definitely a hothouse. I can tell you that.
I think certainly the 22 and the 2 are very fast right now, but I thought Kyle Larson has made some gains on whatever adjustment they made on that last pit stop. Look at here as Ryan Blaney and Jimmie Johnson are battling. And, you know, I'm curious to know what Ryan Blaney's comments are, because we certainly saw him fall back, but they had the opportunity to make some adjustments and maybe make an improvement.
You know, remember, everybody starts on the tires you qualified on. So I think these cars change a little bit from when you come in the first time and put 4 sticker tires on there. Maybe they just didn't make the right adjustments.
Well, right now, Blaney's closing in on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jamie?
Well, Blaney's one complaint today was he's loose into 3. No turn in the center or drive off. So he's been using his track bar adjuster. And on that stop, Jeff, you wondered what they did. He made a wedge adjustment, air pressure, and 4 sticker tires. So those tires have helped a little bit, but not where he thought he'd be.
Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, it's so interesting. DW, you and I have talked about this so many times. Talk about drive off, getting that rear grip and getting back to the throttle, launching up off the corner. I see Brad Keselowski's car doing that as good or better than anybody right now. But what does it take to make that happen? Got to turn the middle, right? Can't have that wheel put into it and scrubbing the front tires to bring the back end around and make it only looser. So you almost have to free the car up to make it drive off tighter.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than what we refer to as push loose. You're back in the gas, the front end's pushing, and all of a sudden the front end bites and the back end snaps around. That's just dreadful. See what Eric Jones is up to here. He looks pretty smooth.
Well, and this is one of the things that drivers love about this racetrack. If you have some of those characteristics in your car where you're needing the car to turn a little bit better, what you can do, you can't do it down in 1 and 2, as we see right here, as we ride along with Eric Jones. He's right on the yellow line. As we go down into turn 3, you're going to watch him cross those left side tires over onto the apron. What does that do? You get the left front there, it helps the front end turn. As you get to the X of the corner, if you cross back over, what's that do? It gives you better drive off.
Oh, now teammates here working on each other.
Well, Ryan Blaney got past Dale Jr. That opened the door for the 48 of Johnson.
Remember that thing I told you about the horn?
Yes.
We might see a demonstration right here.
You can see Jimmy's using that apron to get to the left rear quarter panel of the 88.
He got a little loose.
He just took the air off of him. Junior was trying to get back to the throttle, and yeah, you can hear Junior tried to squeeze that throttle, and the back just wasn't quite there for him. I really think that's a tight, getting loose type of situation for Dale Earnhardt Jr. We heard him talk earlier, or the comments from the team was that he's pushing in the center of turns 3 and 4, and I think that's exactly what caused that looseness right there, as well as the 48 of Jimmy Johnson.
I also think it's that small rear spoiler. You get your nose up under the back of a guy, and it seems to loosen him up quite a bit when you get that nose right up under him.
You know, Mike, I talked at the top of the show about not many opportunities to adjust on your race car, but the driver has the driver adjustable track bar that he can adjust. It's a switch there on the left side. He can throw it up to raise the track bar in the rear. He can throw it down to lower the track bar. Here's the electric motor that adjusts it. That's what went out on Martin Truex Jr.'s car last week at Vegas. When you raise the track bar on the right side, it can free the car up, make it turn. If you lower it, it actually tightens the car up. So this is something I think that will be used a lot, especially considering not many trips to pit road.
Oh, absolutely, Larry. They're using it up a lot. Matter of fact, that engine might get burned up in these cars here today. But when the ends of the track are completely different like you have here at Phoenix, you're going to move it every straightaway. That might be causing some of Kurt Busch's alternator issues.
The problem here, you talk about straightaway where you need to move that thing. That back straightaway is curved all the way from 2 to 3. It's 1,551 feet long. It's the longest part of the track. But, man, the thing's in a bind as it goes up through there, too, through that dog leg.
Now, if you notice that graphic of biggest movers since the restart, one particular name was not on there that you'd expect to see. Kevin Harvick.
Martinsville, the original NASCAR battlefield, celebrates 70 years, Sunday, April 2nd, with the STP 500. New challengers, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, square off against Martinsville Masters. 5-time winner, Denny Hamlin, 9 times master, Jimmy Johnson, and Earnhardt is back at his favorite track. Martinsville Speedway, Sunday afternoon, April the 2nd. For tickets, call 877-RACE-TICKS.
Getting food to hungry older Americans cannot stop, and it won't. Hey, these are our parents and our grandparents out there. Let's start talking about how we can really get to the root of the problem.
Hey, we hear you. Fighting hunger doesn't stop here. I'm working with AARP Foundation's Drive to End Hunger team to change the national conversation around hunger, bring experts together, and make programs better than ever. If you don't think we're in this together, when you think AARP, then you don't know ARP. Learn more at aarp.org/possibilities.
My new Georgia Gold chicken tenders at KFC make regular Gold jealous. My Georgia Gold is hand-prepared with tangy honey mustard barbecue sauce, and Gold is only gold. Get it as a chicken little sandwich, extra crispy tenders, or extra crispy chicken for a limited time. KFC, it's finger-licking gold.
In Los Angeles, fame is what everyone is after.
Take out that cape, Superman.
We just drive 200 miles per hour to get it.
It's time to step up.
And the stakes are very simple.
Time to make our move.
And that's the U.S. cannot afford to lose.
Time to believe. Time to win. Team USA battles Honduras. A huge night of World Cup qualifiers with Mexico versus Costa Rica at 8 and USA versus Honduras at 10:30. Friday on FS1.
Joey Logano's Ford leading Kyle Larson Chevrolet by 3/4 of a second. We are 11 laps to the end of stage 1. Good bit of 3-wide racing still going on, but here's the leader coming up on Cole Witt.
Mike, you know what I'm starting to see right now? It's looking like wiggle time to me.
Oh, yeah.
These cars are starting to step out a little bit.
She wiggles when she walks. This thing is moving all over the place.
Casey Kane, all 4 tires down on the apron as he comes up on the
now.
racetrack. That's what I call loose off.
Kevin Harvick takes advantage, moves up to 13th.
That's what I call a handful.
Yeah.
We've had just one caution flag. It came at lap 27. Reed Sorensen got into Corey LaJoie to bring out that caution, and up front, Kyle Larson hunting the lead as they lapped past Cole Witt.
Yeah, Logano got into turn 3 and got way up high, and when he did, Larson was right there looking underneath him.
Yeah, I think one of the lap cars played a role in that. Vince?
Well, Jeff, you talked about the 42 of Larson and how his car has improved. They only made an air pressure adjustment on that first pit stop, and as Larry Mack mentioned, the driver's ability to adjust the track bar, and Kyle has certainly been working the track bar. They've had a good car all weekend long. We're very optimistic about their potential to win today, to build on the momentum of back-to-back runner-up finishes.
This guy, if he I know he's won one race, but I swear he's sitting here on the verge of winning a lot of races. That 42 car has been right up there every week.
And if you give a talented young driver like Kyle Larson confidence in his car, his team, and his abilities, watch what he does. He will go for quite a ride.
Chad Johnson is crew chief. I mean, that whole Ganassi crowd has really come up. They really stepped it up.
Did you see what I saw right there? The 22 of Logano looked in his mirror. That's all it takes. That's what Larson wants. He's hunting down Logano. He wants him to look in his mirror, and that's exactly what Joey Logano did that last time off of turn 4. I think Logano's car is losing a little bit of grip right here.
And as they battle, Brad Keselowski closes in. He's just half a second back.
Wow, look at Larson all the way down on the apron.
Yeah, both cars are just, both drivers right now are driving as hard as they can. The 22 hanging on, 42 pursuing. And here comes Brad Keselowski right there. He's on the picture now.
Oh, man, did you see right there?
Whoa, now.
The 22 got really loose trying to get in behind one of those lap cars. Look at Larson 3 wide on the inside. It's going to be tough to complete this pass.
No, not when you're way up. Woo. I mean, that is all the way, the whole car
definitely
under
get
the
up
yellow
beside
line.
right here, okay? Oh, he couldn't complete it.
They had to lap past Matt DiBenedetto for the first time and Timmy Hill. They were 3 wide going into the corner.
Mike, why are they racing so hard?
Why not?
Why.
5 laps to go in stage 1.
That's why.
There's
the
points
end of the
on the line,
stage, man.
Playoff points too.
Come on.
Brad Keselowski with a look under.
He's there,
Larson.
Boy, what an aggressive move there. 2 cars turning so good. Don't look now. The 24 is right behind the 2. This is turning into quite a battle.
Oh yeah, well we kept what 4 laps to the caution, to the end of the stage. Everybody wants a piece of the action.
You know, Joey did an excellent job of just kind of taking a breath, taking a reset, getting back, hitting his marks, pulled away a little bit.
And here comes Jamie McMurray, Larson's teammate in the 1.
Yeah,
he wants a piece of this.
But also here comes the 18 car. They're all fighting for a piece of that stage win.
Really like what I've been seeing out of McMurray. He's been searching around the racetrack, not riding in the tracks. Let's see if he does it again down here. Yeah, he's going to go up a little bit high. So does Brad Keselowski, trying to get a little clean air and check out that outside groove.
That's where the spotter does a really good job. The 1 car is running really high, and 3 and 4. I'm trying it.
Didn't work for Keselowski that time, though. The 24 of Chase Elliott almost got a run underneath him. And look at this run right here on the 24.
That's what's so good about these stages. We wouldn't see this kind of racing if we didn't have these stage breaks coming up.
Lap and a half to go in stage 1.
Now Chase Elliott's going to try the high side as Brad Keselowski goes to the inside.
Lap car coming up in front of our leader. Points to the top 10 at the end of this stage. Derek Cope just ahead, or excuse me, that's Reed Sorensen just ahead. The cars are painted
Look
identically.
at this, Larson going to go to the outside. Sorensen fighting hard. Is that for the lead lap? I believe he's trying to stay on.
Yes.
That was unbelievable. I mean, the 15's fighting to stay on the lead lap. The 22 is trying to win the stage. That was a heck of a battle right there, guys.
Earnhardt Jr. and Newman were battling for 10th to the line there, too.
I like that.
Larson, Logano, Keselowski, Elliott, McMurray, the first 5. Then Kyle Busch, Blaney, Johnson, Newman, and Earnhardt. Joey Logano wins stage 1. Kyle Larson and Brad Keselowski 2nd and 3rd, the only drivers who've scored stage points in every race this season. Pit road will open. Here's Matt.
Mike, on the first stop, Chase Elliott's team didn't make any adjustments on that 24. This time, Chase says the balance not as good. 1 and 2 slightly free, especially on entry down into turn 3. Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski, they're going to make an adjustment for the 2s because he said basically it's free, but certainly manageable. Much more this run, Vince.
The 42 of Kyle Larson's a little loose on entry into 1 and 3, so they'll make an air pressure adjustment to give him a little more security. Also an air pressure adjustment for Logano to help him on the loose entry. Also a wedge adjustment for the 22 to help with that tight center. But all in all, the 42 and 22 both pretty good, and the 22 first one off pit road.
That's the eBay Motors race off pit road. Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Jamie McMurray. Here's another look at it.
Let's see if we can get Joey Logano to give us a heads up here. Joey Logano, it's DW. You got me, buddy? And Joey, it's DW. You got me, buddy? And one more time. You got me here, Joey. It's DW.
Yeah, I got you right here.
Can it go any better, buddy? I mean, you're on the pole. You got the #1 pit stall. You just won the first segment. It's going pretty good, isn't it?
Not a bad start. Got pretty intense there at the end, but overall, nice to get our first stage win of the year. And got a long ways to go with this thing, so we'll keep fighting hard.
How's is the heat affecting you at all? How hot is it out there today?
Stay nice and cool in here, DW, but obviously it brings all the temperatures up, not only inside the car, but all the components of the car as well.
All right, my man, good luck. They're nipping at your heels, but you're holding them off. Keep it up.
Step 4, I'm trying.
Joey Logano, your leader. The big loser on that round of pit stops was Martin Truex Jr. They came in 12th, and they went out in the mid-20s. Kurt Busch replaced the battery in his car, but then he had to reset his digital dash, and for doing so was unable to see pit road speed on his monitor, so he was speeding exiting the pits. They had to come back in to make a penalty stop. Here's the audio from Team 41.
I know, because their dash didn't reset for me. I couldn't tell what speed I was going. I honestly tried.
Yeah, think of that digital dash as a computer. Once the power goes down, you get power back to it, you got to reboot it. Basically, all he had was a black screen on that digital dash as he's leaving pit road.
Before we go green, here's Larry with the Liberty Mutual Insurance Worry Less strategy.
I'm going to keep you cool, but you have to tell me what you need before the pit stop to get to you. Now let me know. I'll give you a break. Let me know if you're using more brakes and how much you feel like they might be fading, and make adjustments count. You have to be concise with your feedback where I can make that car handle better for you.
Thanks, Larry. Into the Geico restart zone. Joey Logano chooses the outside. And here he comes.
Whoa. Some of the worst restarts I've ever seen happen right here. Look at that.
Well, the one car, McMurray gets the inside, makes it 3 wide with Keselowski. I'm shocked they made it out of there in one piece.
Look at that. McMurray pays the price. McMurray goes from 5th to 7th.
Yeah, he checked up to keep an incident from happening.
Was check up or wad up right there.
Look at Elliott.
Chase.
Up on the outside, man. They're going to be 3 wide.
He's going to get the outside at 22. 3 wide.
I don't like the looks of this. Something's got to give.
Unfortunately, Logano's going to have to give.
Not yet. Maybe now.
A 3 wide pass for the lead. How often do you see that? Not very.
Those 2 young guns, they took advantage of Joey Logano, and they were after him, man.
Chase drove in really deep into turn 3, had to go up the racetrack a little bit, but
gets off a
great launch.
4 really well.
I don't think that's exactly how Joey Logano saw that one playing out. I love it when Joey Logano, what is he, 26, 27 years old?
Yeah.
When he's the veteran,
Yeah.
he's the experienced one in this. You got these young guns up there going for it.
Kevin Harvick has moved up into the top 10 in the number 4. He's 9th. Denny Hamlin now 12th, battling Ryan Newman.
A little bit of that with Kevin Harvick was on that pit stop. They had a nice pit stop, made up some positions.
Do not count that 4 car out. I mean, we got to get to halfway or a little beyond before we really start seeing him.
Stenhouse on the inside. Truex just kind of blocked in there. Hometown boy Michael McDowell in the 95.
I can't even believe what I'm seeing. I saw right there it said 26 for Mark Truex Jr. That cannot be.
Yes, on the pit stop they had trouble on the right front and they restarted. 26, Jeff.
He's still got trouble. It's all around him. He's surrounded by trouble. Look at those cars bottom out as they hit the apron over. That's the splitter, tailpipes. Everything drags when you go down on that flat.
14th place.
Casey Kane working the outside there. Clint Boyer, Clint rolling right around the bottom. That bottom works well through the center of the corner, but it's hard to open up your steering wheel to get that launch up off. So that outside lane really gives you the momentum.
And side by side for 11th, Hamlin and Newman.
Hamlin's another one, Mike. He's just been methodically working his way up through the field. They had a great pit stop, and it's moved him up into the top, 12th or 11th now.
Erik Jones, a lot of laps on yesterday in the Xfinity race, so hopefully that pays off for him here today.
Well, this is a battle right here. The Jimmy Johnson trying to get by Kevin Harvick. Harvick's car is a little bit better than it was early in the run when we started. Still not where it needs to be, though. They got to make some more changes.
Yeah, but here's something that Kevin Harvick hasn't seen happen in a long time here at Phoenix, and that's somebody passing him.
Well, this battle renews. Boyer and Kane. This is for 14th. Matt Kenseth right with them.
Now, this is one of those situations when you're talking about 14th, 15th. Okay, I understand you're fighting hard for that position, but at some point you have to give it up. As Casey Kane appears that he's going to do that, and he might end up losing another position to Matt Kenseth. But you get a little frustrated when it's 14th, 15th at that point. And it's not that you don't want to race hard. You just want to be smart about it at this point in the race.
This is an aggravating racetrack because guys can run all over you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're faster than they are, but you can't get away from them.
Chase Elliott leading by 0.7 of a second. Let's get down to the eBay Motors pit box and Matt.
Mike, for several years, the JGR pit crews have been the benchmark down here on pit road. Recently, they've turned their focus to optimizing the career length of their athletes and also trying to prevent future injuries. And what they've done recently is partner with Ortho Carolina, the same group that tends to the Carolina Panthers. JGR added a full-time physical therapist. They've got a cryotherapy, they've got cupping, they've got dry needling, a sleep program. They've also got the boost to try to help in recovery. And really all of this is just small little incremental parts, but it pays big dividends because teams now are looking at fatigue management down here on pit road.
I think it's really important on a day like today, Mike, that conditioning and the heat as high as it is, it's got to pay off.
And it's a big area to explore for elite athletes and weekend athletes. Chase Elliott has opened it up to almost a full second now on Kyle Larson.
It's Truck Month. Get to your local Chevy dealer and choose the Silverado that's right for you. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Total of 100 laps complete. Chase Elliott, who led his first laps in the Cup Series here last year and finished top 10 in both Phoenix races. Ahead of Kyle Larson, now just 0.8 of a second, the margin. Brad Keselowski's gone to third. Joey Logano fourth, and Jimmy Johnson keeps moving forward. He passed Jamie McMurray and now Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, all three Hendrick cars in the top 10. Junior running in 6th, and now Johnson 7th. So, and with Chase leading, that's I think that's a product of the testing they did out here.
You saw how hard Ryan Blaney was battling with Jimmy Johnson, not wanting to give it up easy, and that's because he had Jamie McMurray closing in on him from behind.
8th place here.
You just have to be so careful, Mike. When somebody looks underneath you, you know that if he drives in hard and he slips up, he's going to hit you. And we saw it last week when the guy on the inside hits the guy on the outside. Doesn't always turn out good for the guy on the outside.
No, 8 wheels corner better than 4.
Oh, short track rule.
Yep.
Boy, look how Jamie McMurray's car turned so good through the center right there to get that run. Did a nice drive off the corner underneath the 21, and Blaney makes the pass.
Now Kevin Harvick has worked his way into the top 10. Martin Truex has fought his way back up into the top 20. And let's get up to 4th place. Joey Logano, our pole sitter. Talking about brakes, Vince.
Well, Logano said that at the end of that first stage, when he had to really run the car hard to fend off Kyle Larson, that his brakes were softer than he would like. So they made a bias adjustment just prior to that initial pit stop. This team has actually changed its cooling package for the brakes and tires to generate more airflow since the last time we raced here in November. But it is a hot day, and it's certainly something that all teams, especially this 22 right now, are keeping an eye on.
Right now, Logano's keeping an eye on Kyle Busch, filling up his rearview mirror.
Oh, you saw right there, Kyle is highly motivated. He drove in there a little bit too deep, lost the front end. He's trying to get there.
That object in his mirror is just as big as it looks.
Jamie?
A lot of confidence in this 18 camp. I talked to crew chief Adam Stevens this morning. He said, I would be disappointed if we didn't finish this race top 2, and they're showing it right here. Kyle pretty happy with the car, said it needs to turn a little bit better. He feels a 4-wheel drift, but I think he's got a little bit of motivation to help him out and overcome those issues.
Just remember, no matter what, if Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, if Kyle was to retaliate any way possible, what if he wrecks his own self? You know, you got a great car, you got a shot at winning, you retaliate.
And Logano makes a smart move here and lets him go right on by.
No fight.
Gave him plenty of room. We've had just one caution for contact. It was Reed Sorensen into Corey LaJoie early in the race. I'm not saying that had anything to do with LaJoie knocking Sorensen out of a chance to race in the Daytona 500. But I will suggest that Sorensen wasn't going to give him any extra room in the dogleg either.
So you're just saying?
I'm just saying. We've had one caution. Next Sunday, we go to Southern California, again 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox, on the California Speedway in Fontana. Jamie McMurray, Dale Earnhardt Jr., this is for 7th.
Yeah, Junior's just struggling right now. The 48 guy by him a little bit ago. Now McMurray's getting by him. I think Junior's car is just not very good at this time.
Yeah, they've had 2 opportunities now to make an adjustment, but just have not been able to improve the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And folks at home, I just want to give you something to watch. Just keep an eye on that 4 car. He's in the top 10. He's going, what is he going for? 4 in a row here in this spring race. I think he's going for 4 in a row here in the spring race. Do not count that cat out yet.
I know you can't count him out, DW, but it just doesn't look like the Kevin Harvick I've seen of the past here at Phoenix.
Not yet. 41 to go in stage 2 as sparks fly in the desert. Chase Elliott leading Kyle Larson by 1.05 seconds. That gap has increased just a little bit. 35 laps to go in stage 2 of the Camping World 500 in Phoenix. Let's ride shotgun with Kyle Larson in the Credit One Bank inside ride.
You can see Kyle Larson enters into turn 3. A little bit of difficulty getting it down to that yellow line. That tells you how loose these cars are getting into the corner. Down the front straightaway. Backs off really early to make this transition. Again, little wiggle there getting into turn 1. So Larson obviously battling a little bit of loose in condition as he turns into the corners through the tri-oval.
And Corey LaJoie has hit the wall in turn 1. Second caution for contact. 3rd overall in the race at lap 118. LaJoie had to make an extra pit stop earlier because of a tire going down. Boy, he's had a tough start to this season.
See there, the car just never turns straight.
Yeah, it's either you know, a tire went down or a brake issue.
I
right
think
front
it
looked
was
like it was locked up.
I think the brake issue that caused the tire problem.
That could be.
Probably.
Well, we brushed the wall as we saw from Dale
Gonna wreck
Jr.'s
there.
on.
Got one of the fence here. It'll launch. So caution. Yeah, keep going till I tell you.
That looks like done for the day right there. Tough break for
heavy
Corey
damage.
LaJoie. They will go on the 5-minute crash clock. As pit road will, let's see, will it open this time? Yes, green light for pit road. Here they come, Matt.
And Chase Elliott out front, that clean air, that car really seemed to come to life. Not as free as it was the previous time. The blue Deuce, which is yellow and black this weekend with the Alliance truck parts on it, has a big issue with the team radio. They're cutting in and out like there's a mic open. They can hear every once in a while, but Brad did tell the team that the car came in after about 10 laps free at both ends. Jamie?
Kyle Busch in the 18 started 9th, worked his way up to 4th. Said a little bit better that run, turning a little bit better, a 4-tire stop, air pressure. Vince?
Larson says it's pretty good. Don't make any changes, just 4 tires and fuel.
Joey Logano and team are going to have to hurry. They do not win the race off pit road this time. That will go to the Chevrolets out front. Kyle Larson behind Chase Elliott. That number 1 pit stall is only so good when you're not the first one in. It's hard to be the first one out. Elliott, Larson, Logano, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson. Speeding penalties on pit stops. Pole sitter Joey Logano and Eric Almirola too fast entering. They will restart. Tail end of the longest line. Pace car lights are off, ready to come in with Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson on the front row. Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Blaney McMurray. Here they come to the Geico restart zone. Advantage Larson.
Yeah, great start by Larson. We've got Chase Elliott's going to fight back on that outside.
That outside just has so much momentum up off the corner over there. It really gives you great speed down the back straightaway.
Ryan Blaney down on the apron, hunting for 5th.
I don't even know where you call where Blaney was at. That was beyond the apron.
It's no man's land.
He was down there with the infield RVs.
Yeah, because this front straightaway is so narrow, I mean, it really makes the restarts in the first couple of laps look wild and crazy. Because there's not a lot of room down this front. 3 wide pretty well fills it up.
Such a costly mistake for Joey Logano. He came out of the pits in 3rd. He's in 30th position right now. Long way to get back to the front.
Well, he said he was having brake trouble. I guess he couldn't get slowed down quickly enough.
He's going to have no air getting to the nose of that 22 car now.
Harvick dips to the inside on Blaney. This will be for 8th place.
He's slowly getting there. Oh, he slips up the racetrack a little bit. Oh, going to make contact.
Woo, that's tight.
And look at this, 11. Denny Hamlin's going to get a big run on the outside.
Brad Keselowski takes over 5th from McMurray. Jamie.
Well, it's been one of those days for Kevin Harvick. Although he has made up some ground, he started 23rd. He's just not happy with the car. Before that last stop, he said you have to manipulate the car the entire time. It won't turn, it won't stick, it won't do anything. So they threw some things at it with a little wedge, air pressure adjustment to hopefully hook the 4 out.
So when you hear him say manipulate the car, that means he's forcing it to do the things that he wants it to do. The car's just not flowing through the corner. He's not able to drive the car with confidence, ease into the corner, and let the car do the work for you. He's having to do the work, and that's why he's even in the position he's in, because he's so good here. But they've got to get that car a little bit better.
Yeah, on a hot day like this, the last thing you want to drive is an ill-handling race car, and that's what he's got right now. Just can't get it up under him.
Larry, what about heat, specifically brake heat?
Well, I think the story has been Joey Logano, who dominated the first part of this race, leading 83 laps. Now, these are the brake openings right here. And you can see Todd Gordon had 2 tabs to pull 2 pieces off on the right, 2 pieces on the left. That was before the last pit stop. Vince has reported they have been having some brake issues. So what Todd Gordon did on that stop, you can see there's just 1 tab there now. So what he did, he opened up the right side, left the left side the same.
Yeah,
up to 28th and coming.
Sorry, Mike, but that right front, that's the trouble spot. That right front takes a lot of abuse, a lot more heat, and they can't handle any more than it's already being abused by, and that's why they had to pull the right front instead of the left front.
And remember, Mike, we talk about what a short race this is, 312 laps, and you make a mistake on pit road or anywhere really, and you go to the rear of the field, it's going to be doubtful if you can get yourself back to the front.
Well, as well as there's even less air now getting to the cooling and the brake cooling than there was before. The best place you could be is where Chase Elliott's at. That's up there in that fresh, clean air.
Yeah, you need brakes when you're racing down and back in the pack with the other cars. We got to out-brake somebody getting in the corner.
94 degrees, track temp almost 140. That'll fry more than an egg.
I'm just telling you, just try that at home one time, see how you like it.
Imagine how those tires feel out there right now.
Oh, they're angry.
They're gooey.
Yeah, let's call the race from the roof. That lasted 1 pace lap.
No kidding. I said, you go ahead. I'm going in where the air conditioner is.
I'll tell you, one driver's running pretty cool right now, and that's that leader out there, Chase Elliott, but not here. Look at this. This is just a wad of cars.
Daniel Suarez, the orange 19, Ricky Stenhouse, the 17, and David Reagan in the 38, plus Kurt Busch is in the midst of that. They're fighting for 22nd. Busch is a lap down.
I heard Dave Rogers say that the final practice yesterday was the best practice they've had with Suarez in that 19 car. And they felt like, I know Suarez said they felt like they really hit on something.
You know, Daniel's just going to, and that team's going to have to be patient with him. This is, you know, think about how much time he has in a big, heavy stock car like this on an oval. Not a lot. But what I saw with him in the Truck Series as well as in the Xfinity Series, he's a very fast learner. He will get better if they can just be patient with him.
Joey Logano right in the midst of this mix.
That guy
to overcome a speeding penalty.
That guy in that 22, he's not so patient. He's got to get going in a hurry.
David Reagan just ahead, the 38. Stage 2 winding down. 17 laps to go in our second stage. Chase Elliott leading by 1.7.
Before you open your eyes, at Smithfield, we're busy slow smoking. Before you sizzle, we hand select and hand trim. Before you were born, we gave birth to flavor, which you'll find in every bite of our naturally delicious hickory smoked bacon. Flavor hails from Smithfield.
Every lap timed to 100th of a second. Every gallon measured down to the last drop. Every tire holding till its last tread. Each moment building with pressure. But no matter the precision put into a car or a race, the path to victory is through total chaos.
Unbelievable.
We're just moments away from adding a new chapter to college basketball's most storied rivalry.
Los Angeles, fame is what everyone is after.
Take out that cape, Superman.
We just drive 200 miles per hour to get it.
Get closer to the action like never before with NASCAR Race Hub on FS1. At the track.
Looks like Superman won.
In the shop.
Catching up with Joey Logano.
On the headsets and behind the scenes.
Every night, the place to be.
All season long. Hear the story from the drivers who lived it.
That's how tough the track was to drive.
And get the ultimate setup from the legends of the sport.
You can't script it. There's certain things out of your control.
NASCAR Race Hub. Weeknights at 6 Eastern on FS1.
11 laps to the end of Stage 2 in Phoenix. Here's how the Coca-Cola family of drivers are faring. Denny Hamlin in the top 10. Newman, Dillon, Patrick in the top 20. Suarez just outside. And Logano, who started from pole, fighting back from a speeding penalty. Chase Elliott leads Kyle Larson now by nearly 2 seconds. With Kyle Busch looking in from third. 13th place, Ryan Newman, Clint Bowyer. Jamie?
And Clint Bowyer, he's happy with this car. What a difference a week makes. They've thrown a lot of things at it. It's responsive this week. He had a numb race car last time, but he said this run is the best it has been. It's still a little tight, a little loose getting in, but Clint Bowyer overly happy right now as he battles side by side, door to door with Ryan Newman.
Ooh, they got pretty close right there. The 31 of Newman drifted out a little bit wide, almost forced the 14 to go. Well, he only had about an inch between him and the wall anyway.
Here comes last week's winner, Martin Truex. He wants to be part of this. He's trying to overcome a bad pit stop.
Yeah, that bad pit stop, they put him back in the field about 26. And look how long it's taken him just to get up to where he is right now, 15th place. That's how hard it is to pass once you're back in the pack.
Taking about 60 laps. 8 to go in Stage 2. Chase Elliott trying for a stage win and opening it up. And look at Dale Jr. The inside of that car has climbed to almost 144 degrees. Matt?
Mike, drivers try to beat their heat issues with several different routines, and Dale Jr., he borrowed an idea from Jimmy Johnson. Before the race, Dale Jr. soaks his fire suit in ice cold water and then usually sprays cold water on his Nomex shirt. He's got 2 hoses and a blower that directs air across the body and a blower into the back of the seat. You know, when the warm air hits the saturated clothing, it helps cool the driver with all the dampness in the fabric. And then you add a blower at the feet on an elevated floorboard that has NASA-type heat shields under the tailpipes. And the AC unit, oh yes, that helps direct air hose into the helmet, which helps cool that air 20 degrees off the ambient temperature. But remember, that's air around the car, not the 95 degrees for the folks in the stands.
I'll keep on working, man. That's all I can do. I know that. I'm just letting you know we ain't really getting anywhere. I'm like sliding the back, I'm sliding the front. A little tight through here. Real loose in the throttle right here. I just pick up the inside at every corner.
So there's a bag of ice going inside the fire suit, and a little evaporative cooling there.
That's what we used to do on the pit stop. We get bags of ice, stuff them down our uniforms. So I tell you, all these drivers are fighting that heat right now, every one of them across the board.
Yeah, and that was on the pit stop, not under green.
Right, I understand.
Right.
And that's something I actually learned from Dale Earnhardt Jr. I watched him prior to a race take a bottle of water and squirt his uniform and his the underwear underneath the uniform, the fire resistant underwear. And I started to try. I said, why do you do that? And he said, oh man, that helps me cool down. On these hot days like this, it really does make a difference when the blowers inside hit that wet, damp shirt.
But talk about alternator issues, battery issues. Did you hear all of the blowers that they have in that race car? On his feet, on his helmet, blowing in his uniform, cooling the brakes, cooling the tires. A lot of blowers.
Points to the top 10 at the end of this stage, coming in 3 laps. Hamlin in 9th, Blaney in 8th, Harvick is 10th, Eric Jones 7th, McMurray 6th, Keselowski 5th, Johnson, Kyle Busch, Larson, and Elliott. There's McMurray. Going to collect some stage points here in 2 laps.
Yeah, a solid run for he and his teammate both. Larson running 2nd and McMurray running 6th. And my hat's off to that Ganassi bunch. They have really got some good race cars this year.
One lap to go in stage 2. Elliott's continued to extend his lead. It's nearly 3 seconds. Blaney and Hamlin fighting for 8th down to the wire. Stage 2 goes to the Hendrick Chevrolet of Chase Elliott. Half a straightaway on Kyle Larson. Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Brad Kay, and boy, 3 cars under a blanket, and whoa, here they come. That's outside the top 10, but everybody battling for position. I believe that's the first time Chevrolet has won a stage this season. Chase Elliott is the young man who gets it done. Fans, remember to follow @Toyota Racing for more content and join the conversation around NASCAR Goes West, presented by Toyota. Chase Elliott is the winner of stage 2 from Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch. Matt?
Chase Elliott, about a year old the last time we had a first-time winner here at Phoenix. This run, same as the last, sliding the nose late in the run. Meanwhile, his teammate Jimmy Johnson, it took about 4 laps for the car to take off. Jimmy said, and Chad said, that's simply because you were in traffic. The car a little bit snugger at the end of that run. Jamie?
Kyle Busch, a one-time winner here, but that was 11 years ago. Wants to change it today. A little bit tighter at that run, a 4-tire stop and a drink. Vince?
Kyle Larson said he felt a change in the track that run. They were getting beat entry to center, but really good on exit. 4-tire change. Larson says overall they're pretty good and a good clean stop.
Be very close at the yellow line for the race off pit road. Scoring shows Larson But
Yeah,
we'll go back and check that because it was only
Larson
100.
being around the inside was able to run a little bit shorter.
It was only 100th of a second. So let's take a close look here.
Got him to me
right
yeah, there.
Chase got him.
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
We say we dial up our stage winner there. Hey, Chase Elliott, Jeff Gordon up here in the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
Yeah, man.
Man, congratulations on stage 2 win. You know, I'm curious watching. I mean, you guys have been flawless in the pits, but you had to get out front, and then all of a sudden you showed your dominance. Tell us about the difference in the car or the adjustments you guys made there to have that kind of a strong run.
Yeah, honestly, we really haven't changed a whole lot. It's really been more just air and trying to get that clean air, as you know, is huge, especially at this place.
Well, these restarts are something else. I know that's something you've been really focused on and working on, but they've been going good. Talk us through some of these restarts and your strategy.
Yeah, just try to get going the best you can. Obviously, if you can, you know, clear the guy next to you as soon as possible, you're going to, you know, have the best result if you can do that. So that's our goal. Try to keep them smooth and clean and go from there.
Well, congratulations to you and the team. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Chase Elliott at the end of stage 2, leading Kyle Larson and Jimmy Johnson. They will restart with 155 to go. They're your stage winners, Joey Logano and Chase Elliott. Elliott will have Kyle Larson on the front row. Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Keselowski, McMurray as they approach the Geico restart zone. Jones, Hamlin, Harvick, and Blaney the top 10. Green flag.
Well, keep an eye on Kyle Busch on the outside. Look, he already is getting a run on Chase Elliott. Makes contact.
He'll make him some room over there. Scoot over a little bit. Give me a little room.
Probably going to give Larson the lead right here.
But here comes Elliott.
Oh,
crossover move. How about that?
That's a nice move right there, boys.
Now, can he clear Larson?
All clear.
He was all clear.
Yeah. Not sure about that all clear.
All clear by 3.
What a restart for Chase Elliott.
Well, and also an aggressive restart for Kyle Busch. We see that out of him a lot. I anticipated, I'm sure that Chase Elliott also did.
I think I just tell you how good that 24 car is, though, because he was able to drop down, do that crossover move, and clear Kyle Larson. And Kyle Larson's got a good car.
Kasey Kahne inside Matt Kenseth. That's 13th place. Ryan Newman just ahead.
It's about as good as I've seen that 5 car today. He's finally up in the top 13 here, which is somewhat of an improvement over he was earlier.
Hey, Larry, I can't help but watch right now, and you know, watching these drivers battle on this restart. Now, stage 1 is out of the way. Stage 2 is out of the way. Much longer run here, over about 160 laps, 155 laps to the end of this race. What does that do for their strategy and tires and fuel mileage?
Well, yes, stage 3 is longer than the first 2 stages put together. Everyone knows they have to make at least one stop. Now, if we get to about lap 217, that's 95 laps to go. That would be where the window opens to be able to make it to the end. So everybody knows one stop. The problem is you don't know if it's going to be a caution or not.
Yeah, that's going to shake things up a lot. The last thing you want to do if you have to make a green flag stop here is be the first one on pit road. I think I've seen it so many times. Every time a car hits pit road here under green, that's when the caution comes out.
You know, guys, just in this shot here, there goes Erik Jones. He's doing a whale of a job today, running 7th in that 77 car. We talk about giving guys time to grow and develop. This is a brand new team. And for Erik to be running as good as he is very impressive to me.
He's having a great day in the top 10 there. Chase Elliott now with a 1-second lead. Remember, he led his first race in the Cup Series right here at Phoenix, and now he's out front here again.
for me, I want to enjoy racing the guys that are here right now. I think if you can prove that you can beat the guys that are veterans now, it means that much more.
He's proven it right now.
Boy, he is. All those veterans, as well as one of our young guys in Kyle Larson, are chasing Chase Elliott.
Ooh, that's tight.
Nice place. Murray Blaney.
Right. Putting that right front right in that door.
Good thing the sides of both those cars are white.
Give me some room.
This is what I like watching here at Phoenix. That creates an opportunity when one car gets a run on somebody, loosens them up a little bit. They lose a little momentum. The car behind them pounces to try to put the pressure on them and make that pass.
Jamie.
Ryan Blaney started on the front row. First time in his career in the Cup Series. So far today, the car has been a little good, sometimes not so good. Loose in has been his biggest complaint. On that last stop, though, they made an air pressure and wedge adjustment, but the biggest thing is his onboard track bar adjuster is broken. Now they'll have to adjust that on the stops only, and that's not good because these guys have been wearing out their track bar adjusters in race.
They're going to have to put some bigger motors on those track bar adjusters because those burn them up every week, and particularly on a track like this with that big sweeping back straightaway.
And sometimes, DW, it's not always that the motor burns up. Sometimes it blows the fuse, and there's just no power to get to it.
Would that blow your fuse? Track temp 139.
Yes, it would. I'm happy to be up here.
degrees. Down to Vince at our eBay Motors pit box.
Well, we've talked a lot today about the heat and the challenge that the drivers are facing. We saw inside Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car, temperature over 140 degrees. Matt Yoakum talked about some of the relief that drivers can get from the driver's suit, but also the helmet. Here's Brad Keselowski's Bell helmet, an additional visor to help with the sun, which is always challenging here at Phoenix. The air conditioning receptacle at the top. This helmet improved over a year ago with better ventilation inside. The exterior shell of the helmet is lighter to make it easier on the neck of the driver. Anything and everything to make it better, more comfortable, less challenging for the drivers in this intense heat.
Absolutely. The less you're worried about the heat, the better you can perform. Chase Elliott in front of Larson now by 1.3. Keeping cool in the Arizona sun by being out front. 142 laps to go in the Arizona desert.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. With Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers, and you're watching NASCAR on Fox Live. Time for a KFC Georgia Gold race break, and your leader, 21-year-old Chase Elliott in the 24 car, hoping for the first win of his career. You know, he's beat himself up about restarts in the past, Michael. It cost him in Michigan at a couple of races last year, but he's held up, especially more recently, to protect the lead here.
Yeah, he can check the box of restarts so far today, but these restarts are tough, Chris. They'll take you 3 wide. We saw Chase Elliott get squeezed by Kyle Busch as they raced down in turn 1, so there will be more action on these restarts.
Kyle Larson with one career win has finished second in 4 races since, and that was back at Michigan where he did get the victory. He is second right now in another Chevy.
He trails Chase Elliott by just 1.5 seconds, and that time by 1/10 better than Elliott. So watch the 42 car gaining on Elliott.
And Kyle Busch is gaining. He's had an adventurous week. He's had a rough start to the season, but he has had success here before.
Yeah, and yesterday in practice in the 10-lap average and 15-lap average, this was the fastest car. Here in this final stage, see if the long run plays into the 18 car's favor.
And Kyle, one of the few rookies to win at this track. Meanwhile, Martin Truex Jr. drove for the cycle last week with the win, trying to win back-to-back Cup races, first time in his career.
Yeah, they stumbled on pit road and he got mired back in traffic, and Myers, he's only made it back up to the 13th position. That tells you how tough the sledding is back in the field.
And Joey Logano, the stage 1 winner, has led 83 laps. Elliott's led the most, sat on the pole here, but then had a pit road speeding penalty that has pushed him back. He's working his way back up toward the front.
Yeah, I've been tracking him, just seeing how much progress he's able to make compared to Truex. It's about the same. They're picking off a car every 5, 6, 8 laps, but that's a long way to go to get to the front.
And that is your KFC Georgia Gold race break. Live action continuing from just outside Phoenix, Arizona, with Chase Elliott in the lead, hoping for his first win. We're glad you're watching NASCAR on Fox.
129 laps to go. Chase Elliott leading by 1.3 seconds. Here's our Credit One Bank ones to watch.
I know this is going to be the obvious, but I'm going with Chase Elliott. I mean, he's out front. He's dominating. He's looking so good. This is the track where he led his first Cup lap as a leader in the Cup Series. I think he gets his first Cup win today.
Jeff, Kyle Busch has not won a race since Indianapolis, July of last year. And what a terrible start. Not even a top 15 finish yet. What a difference a week could make for that 18 car.
Guys, I couldn't believe you left. I mean, Kevin Harvick, the 4-car, he's going for his 4th win in a row in this race. He's the king of the desert. Keep an eye on that 4-car.
I'm watching Denny Hamlin. My buddy started in the back of the pack, and he's charged up to the 6th position. And what I like about this car, he ran his fastest lap around lap 100. They've improved the FedEx Camry, and he's marching. Watch Denny Hamlin late.
I like Kyle Larson. He said early in the day, the way this track tends, the groove moves from the top and the grip ends up being on the bottom. Usually he's on the top. Watch for him on the bottom in victory lane. Those are your ones to watch with 126 laps to go, with an honorable mention to Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't believe none of us chose him.
And Eric Jones, who's done a great job running in the top 10 almost all day.
Yeah, but I just couldn't bet against Kevin Harvick. He's such a favorite here.
Here's Martin Truex Jr. moving back up into the top 13.
Definitely.
Passing Dale Jr.
Definitely not the day I was expecting out of Dale Earnhardt Jr. He was so good here in practice, qualified great, as well as this car dominated here last October, November. So I really expected him to be a lot better today.
Matt Kenseth coming into the picture. Matt?
Mike, Jeff's not alone. A lot of people, especially on the 88, thought they would be a contender today. The last run here, the car just really, really free on throttle since that stop. At one point, they thought they had debris on the grill. The water temperature had climbed drastically. Junior says it has since coming down. Just trying to soldier on until the next stop. They can work on it some more.
Tell you what, a heck of a battle going on right here for
I think Kyle's going to get to the
second, third, fourth.
Yeah, Kyle Busch is going to get to the outside of Larson. Larson moves down.
And right behind these two guys, you see the 2-car of Keselowski. He's in the picture.
And that's what I was wondering. It seemed like the 2-car started picking up some speed, gaining on the 18 of Kyle Busch, and started putting pressure on him. Kyle Busch started searching around the racetrack, found something, closed in on the 42 of Larson, and now here comes the 2-car on Larson.
Yeah, Larson didn't put up much of a fight right there. I think he's probably just saving the car a little bit. Maybe it's not right where he wants it.
So mark Kyle Busch as being 2.2 seconds behind Chase Elliott when he moved to second place. We'll see if he can narrow that margin.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be watching, is what kind of lap times can he put in there now. Can he close in on that leader of Chase Elliott?
2 cars all over the back of Larson there, trying to get by him. He's looking on the bottom right here. Might have a run on him.
But just think about how good Brad Keselowski has been this year. Oh, we got one in the wall off of 4.
Oh, it's
Matt Kenseth.
It's Kenseth.
That car will not steer. He is hard against the wall.
Window net
just
already down.
About 200 feet shy of the start-finish line. Lap 192, and our cameraman high up on the roof at that position heard the tire explode just before Kenseth went into the wall.
It has all evidence of a right front tire blowing. You can just see the angle and the flat part of that right front and how hard he impacted the wall from 15th position.
Riding with Joey Logano up ahead is Kenseth in 15th place.
Oh, wow. Yikes. Man, that hurt.
That's when you're really thankful for a safer barrier.
You just don't know how that feels. If you've never been in a car that hits a wall like it, you just can't imagine what it feels like. It's like getting hit in the gut with a baseball bat.
Matt?
And Mike, this run, Matt Kenseth have been complaining the 20 car just plowing tight.
Well, and Matt, you bring that up. When the car is that tight, what do? You use more brake to slow the car down to get it to turn in the corner. That can add a little bit of temperature in that right front shoulder and bead that we've talked about.
And you try to lay, you know your car's tight. You know it's pushing. You know you're abusing that right front tire. A guy like Matt Kenseth, he's trying to take it easy and not burn that thing up, but you saw what happened.
Good to see him walk.
Yes, because that
back
was a
to
hard
the safety
hit.
vehicle.
Shaking his wrist there a little bit. Pretty hard impact. No question about that.
Kenseth was in 15th place at the time of the crash. 119 laps to go. So after this stop, we'll look for one more before we get to the finish. Just watch the bottom of Kenseth's number 20 up ahead of Joey Logano here. He's on the outside.
Yeah, what that is the right front goes down. There's no interliners in these tires. Goes down onto the splitter, and probably the whole right side. Wow, look at that angle. What an impact. But the whole right side of the car basically dragging underneath.
And there's no warning, Mike. I mean, you're in the gas, you got the wheels turned to the left, and it takes off to the right and hits the wall.
Reed Sorensen will be the free pass car as Chase Elliott's lead is erased by this caution flag. Pit road is open, Matt.
Mike, Chase Elliott trying to become the 17th different driver to score a win for Hendrick Motorsports. They were talking about a small adjustment this run because Chase said the grip is just going away lap after lap, both front and rear on the 24. Jamie?
Look out, competition. This is the happiest Kyle Busch in the 18 has been. He said the back is way better. He wants to tear off some water and an ice bag. Vince?
Kyle Larson requests no specific changes, but he says he has had to lower his track bar, so they are going to make an adjustment so he can raise it. Also give him some fresh water and another strong stop from the 42 teams.
Here's the eBay Motors race off pit road. Kyle Busch handily picks up one spot for the lead over Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and Brad Keselowski. 118 laps to go in Phoenix. One more look at why we're under caution. Matt Kenseth. Ouch. There's the remains of Matt Kenseth's car after losing a tire and going into the turn 4 wall. Let's take a look at our Budweiser race summary. Kyle Busch is our leader after pit stops, the first of 31 lead lap cars. He's one of 6 different leaders, 10 lead changes. We've had 5 cautions for 27 laps. Our stage winners, Joey Logano and Chase Elliott. Let's revisit Logano's day via in-car radio.
Look at it, guys. Let's have a smooth, clean race here. Do what we know how to do. End up a victory lane like last time right here. May have hit a little bit of debris in front of me. Overall, nice to get our first stage win. Yes, sir.
Speeding penalties on pit stops. Pole sitter Joey Logano.
Need to go to the rear. Do you want me to come down pit road? The rear? Sorry there.
Logano has rebounded nicely on this caution. He came into the pit 16th, came out 11th. In Atlanta, he finished 6th after a speeding penalty.
Well, he's just working his way right back in the picture, though. I mean, from dead last to 11th, pretty good.
He'll have to go a ways to catch Kyle Busch, who is out front. He picked up one spot on the pit stop from Chase Elliott. So Kyle Busch has now led twice for 4 laps today. He is our Toyota top performer. Eric Jones, the rookie, continues to have a stellar day. He's been in the top 10 all day, currently 7th. And Denny Hamlin in the top 10, although Hamlin entered the pit 6th, came out 10th on this caution flag.
As usual, seeing where pit road and what happens on pit road is critical to the kind of race you're going to have, and especially at this stage of the race, you cannot afford to have a big mistake on pit road.
I notice Hamlin's openings for his brakes are all open.
Seeing where that outside lane on these restarts has been really, really important. A lot of momentum that gets carried off the corner. Pretty sure you'll see Kyle Busch take that outside, which is going to put Chase Elliott on the inside.
Matt Kenseth checked and released at the Infield Care Center. That's good news. Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, the front row for this restart. Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, row 2. Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, row 3. Rookie Eric Jones with Casey Kane. Ryan Blaney with Denny Hamlin back in the 5th row. Joey Logano up to 11th with Ryan Newman, then McMurray and Boyer.
Mike, on the front row, we got a guy that struggles with restarts, and we got a guy that doesn't.
You know, if you grew up in the heyday of AM radio like I did, what'd you do when a Chuck Berry song came on the radio?
Turned it up.
Cranked it up.
That's right.
So in honor of the greatest of all time and the man who John Lennon said if they had to rename rock and roll, they'd just call it Chuck Berry. Let's crank it up for the restart.
Trying to get your right rear. 5, hit your right rear bumper cover now. Clear of the 5. Half, all clear. Half. Push again. Outside. Still there, bias self. Still there, door. Behind you here, good run. Outside, on the bumper. The middle. Inside 21. Top's clear here. Open. Outside 31. Outside 31. Top of 2. Inside. One guy. The 14. Top is good. Clear high. 14 is down there.
Denny Hamlin dropping back a bit here. And trouble. There's David Reagan in the fence with rookie Greg Galding. Turn 1.
I think that might be a break for the 11 car because something had happened to him and he was falling like a rock.
And Hamlin thinks he has a flat tire.
I think he does too, Mike, because he was going nowhere.
He was 8th.
Yeah, that right rear looks a little low. Hard to say because they lower the air pressures on those pit stops.
Well, he was struggling, Jeff. I mean, all of a sudden he just started falling back, so I'm pretty sure he's got a flat tire.
There's David Reagan.
Oh, he cut a left rear down. That fender was rubbing. That's going to take out Greg Galding.
Yep.
Send both of them backwards into the fence.
And they were racing for the free pass position. We'll double check that with NASCAR scoring. Ouch.
You think this little 1 mile racetrack, you're not going that fast? I tell you, you look at the damage that's done to these cars when they hit the wall, they're going really fast.
Here comes Hamlin. Pit road is, well, the green light's on. Well, let's check with Jamie back near the Care Center.
Well, the last caution was for Matt Kenseth. Had a tire issue there. Any indication that that was about to let go?
No, I just had an indication I was going to hit the wall when it did let go. But yeah, didn't know that was coming. We really struggled with our Tide Pods Camry all day. Really, that was the best we got running most of the day. We were really tight, and we got rolling a little bit better that run, and just just failed the front tire. But we really didn't handle good all day, and we're trying to make the best of it and get our way toward the front. We just didn't get there.
Thanks, Matt. I'm glad you're okay. Mike?
Thanks, Jamie. We double checked with scoring. Kurt Busch gets the free pass.
Finally, he's been trying and trying and trying.
And each time a prior caution had come out, Reed Sorensen had just been lapped, so he got 2 of them, and Busch would have been the next car, but now he will get back finally on the lead lap after that battery change earlier. 106 to go. 31 cars on the lead lap, led by Kyle Busch. 103 laps to go in Phoenix. Kyle Busch the leader, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott. Now on that last restart, Chase Elliott was on the inside. Remember, he was not the leader. Kyle Busch was the leader. Look what happens to the 24 here.
Look at the 18 really holding him down tight. 18 gets a great launch.
42 got in the back of the 24 too. It got him a little loose, but wasn't enough.
Yeah, once they get down here, once the 2 is on the outside of him, there's really not much that Chase could do other than drop in behind him.
No, which is smart. You know, get him behind the guy.
And unfortunately, he's going to be starting third on this next restart, so he's going to have a tough one again.
Now, in the midst of that last restart, let's take a listen at how Rick Corelli, Eric Jones' spotter, helped Jones worry less with our Liberty Mutual Insurance spotter coverage.
41's a half back, top 5 from it. Get ready, 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 green flag. Rolling. Outside on the bumper. Outside, outside, tight, 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 tight.
Spotters helping their drivers worry less. Now, you heard a lot of RPM out of Eric Jones right there. So how about for this next restart, we'll ride along.
I was going to say the engine builder and the transmission builder are worrying a lot more when they hear that. You could hear him hit the rev limiter as he went into turn 1, and you can do that when you're a little bit further back in the pack because they check up a little earlier as they break into turn 1, and you hope that it accelerates off of turn 2 a little bit better to give you a little squirt to make some passes. But I didn't see the advantage there. It just seems like it's turning a lot of RPM, and I didn't see where the benefit was. But yeah, we'll ride along with him, see if he does that again.
Way too much RPM, and that would be a great passing gear, but it is turning too many RPM.
Well, and NASCAR has limited the third gear and the overall gear, so really very few teams and drivers are shifting these days here at Phoenix.
And we just saw Jones downshift to second gear to get ready for this restart. It was confirmed Denny Hamlin had a 1-inch cut in his right rear tire. We saw him just stop there to top off because he will restart 31st.
Again.
Kyle Busch up front.
One driver's misfortune is another's fortune.
Green flag.
So right there where Eric Jones has stayed in third gear, he'll try to squirt up off this corner and now go to fourth gear.
Yeah, he just kind of floats it into the turn, doesn't stay in the throttle real hard, but then he accelerates and then he hits high gear.
Second place, side by side, Larson Keselowski.
Yeah, that outside lane again is so important. And look behind this battle. Kevin Harvick was in the outside on that restart into fourth position.
The man, I'm just telling you, the man knows something about this joint that nobody else knows, and he knows when it's time to go. I've seen him do this time and time again here. We'd count him out a couple of times, and he'd come storming
Larson
back.
not able to complete that pass on the outside of Keselowski for second.
And for 8th place, Johnson, Newman, Kane, Logano, Truex, Boyer. They all want a bit of 8th place.
Seen some really great battles after these restarts.
You just know you get up on the outside of 1 and 2 particularly and pin that guy down on the inside and you can get by him, and you got to capitalize on that.
Down there, the door. Top is good.
You're right, DW, but as the laps go by, air pressure builds up. Where do you want to be? You want to be on that inside lane, so that's why they fight so hard for that position.
Casey Kane inside of Newman. That's for 9th place. Let's check with Vince on the 3rd place car.
Well, and Jeff just mentioned about the fact that Kyle Larson was unable to complete the pass on Brad Keselowski. Kyle has been saying that it's really slick at the beginning of the run, the first 7-8 laps. He said, but after about 8 to 10 laps, the grip comes in, and I'm a lot better. So we'll see if he can pick it up after that. Jamie?
And for the first time today, Kevin Harvick is inside the top 5. 2 stops ago, he said, I have no no clue what to tell you. It is so messed up. This time, though, he said much better. Still a little too tight. A little wedge adjustment's gone a long way for the 4 today.
These tires, those guys talk about a little hard to get going on these first 3 or 4 laps. These tires are pretty hard for this racetrack, though. And I think that's why they got to get a little heat in them, get the pressures up a little bit before they can really get after it.
And don't forget the track temperature, too, DW. You take a really hard tire and throw in 140-degree track temperature, you're going to have your hands full.
Wow, Jamie McMurray.
Here comes a 17. It's going to go to the inside of Stenhouse.
Cutting the corner on the dog leg.
That's the inside.
What do you do when you get down here on the apron?
Oh. Hang on.
Worked out pretty well for McMurray.
Boyer trying to keep Stenhouse low. Dillon is there too in the 3.
You can see right there, Clint Boyer backed out really early, then was able to roll through the middle, but just not able to complete the throttle to get that acceleration off the corner.
I give Stenhouse credit. He ain't giving up. He's staying after it. I think he might clear him this time.
Fighting for 13th. I wonder if when they did the redesign for this track, they're going to move the start-finish line over past the exit of turn 2 and add some grandstands. I wonder if they asked Harvick where they should put Victory Lane.
They should. I'm telling you.
He could tell them a lot about how you get there.
He may not win this race, but you got to admit, now the struggles they've had, and there he is in the top 5. That's just an impressive run for that guy and that team. Nice job, Rodney.
Well, Victory Lane now is kind of stuck in a little corner next to the media center. They are going to move it down into the new, next to the garage area fan zone inside turns 1 and 2.
Boy,
Denny Hamlin in the 11 back in 24th.
Don't you just feel for Denny Hamlin? He had to go to the back because of a puncture in qualifying. You can't change that tire after qualifying and not go to the back. So he goes to the back, comes all the way up into the top, what, 6 positions, and then has another flat right rear tire.
Battling Trevor Bayne and Kurt Busch. What happened to Bayne?
Yeah, he gets wide off of 4.
Yeah, got a little bump there. You see a piece of debris fly off the car. I don't know what that was, but something flew off of it.
He and Ty Dillon both got up and popped the fence there. Matt?
Mike, the biggest gains that Denny Hamlin has made in the 11 today was on restarts. That's where he feels like that he's the most lethal, and then everyone just sort of settles in. So tough to pass. That's why it feels like they need to make some more gains on that 11. You documented earlier the tire issues they've had. Also on that stop, where they had the gun jam on the right front. So they've certainly seen it all on the 11 today.
Well, guys, let's set up the strategy here. All right, all the leaders pitted at lap 194 with 118 laps to go. Remember, the fuel window is 85 to 95 laps. But we've run 14 laps of caution. I still think that's a stretch. But because of having the flat right rear, Denny Hamlin, Mike Wheeler came to pit road and topped off at lap 211. That's 101 laps to go. Now, I don't think this thing will go caution-free, but even sitting back in 23rd, could they be in the catbird seat?
Well, I wouldn't mind being in that position if I had the problems they've had all day, and then it might fall right back in my lap.
So Joe Gibbs Racing has both ends of the lead lap covered with Kyle Busch leading. That team has won at every other track on the circuit since their last victory here, scored by Denny Hamlin in 2012.
That was a great heads-up move by Mike Wheeler. That's, you never give up, right? Doesn't matter. You got to stay calm, stay cool in all these situations to make sure you're staying on top of every scenario that could play out in your favor.
You know what else you got to do? You got to sell it to your driver. Look, we're not out of this thing. Don't give up on me. Don't lay down on me, boy. Keep digging.
Look at Ricky Stenhouse. Where did he come from?
Well, he went 3 wide a few laps ago to make some positions. He was actually able to chase McMurray down past McMurray. Now he goes to the outside of Joey Logano.
Remember, he wrecked that car on Friday practice. Hit the wall pretty hard. They repaired it, and they must have repaired it real good.
Yeah, I was going to say, whatever they've done, they fixed it up good.
6th place, Ryan Blaney trying to hold off Jimmy Johnson to no avail.
And Jimmy Johnson's another one of those, like Chase Elliott and a couple others, who had to start in the inside lane on that last restart. Lost a couple positions, now gaining those positions back.
Jamie McMurray right there. This is for 13th.
Boy, it just means so much, Mike, to get out front. I watched Kyle Busch's lap times. He's about a tenth to a tenth and a half quicker than everybody else because he's out front by himself.
Clint Boyer looking in now. And the much anticipated rematch between Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. I think we saw them side by side once today. Right now, they are 11 seconds apart. Busch leading, Logano 14.
I'm going to be like old Curly in City Slickers. The day ain't over with yet.
No.
Obviously, Logano really struggling right here. Losing a couple positions. Possibly going to lose another one here to Clint Boyer.
Now, this is only the second lap, second time in this century we have had a race at Phoenix here over 90 degrees. 2001 it was 95, 96 today. Joey Logano, the winner in stage 1 in a Ford. Chase Elliott Chevrolet wins stage 2, and you'll see them denoted by a win flag up on our Fox box. There's one for Elliott.
Yeah, but for all of our friends at home that are watching this and are freezing to death, it's a dry heat. At 95, it's really dry.
Yeah? How dry is your snow shovel today? And how warm? It's hot. It's hot.
Oh, it's a dry heat.
A.J. Allmendinger trying to take it to Michael McDowell. This is on the lead lap, fighting for 25th. This is 18 seconds back of the leader.
McDowell right on his rear bumper, gets him loose. Allmendinger slid back up the racetrack as we go into this battle here with the 21. Vince?
You know, this is the 3rd week in a row that 77 of Eric Jones has spent most of the day in the top 10. Unfortunately, the last 2 weeks they've had pit stop issues that have caused them to finish 14th and 15th. No such issues today. They've been rock solid in the pits, and other than the fact that Eric says he could use some more grip, he's been real strong there as well. Jamie?
And I talked to the crew chief, Jeremy Bullins, of the 21 this morning. He said, you know, we put this team together a year and a half ago with the Penske Alliance. We're just now starting to see the fruits of our labor. Already 2 top 10s this season. Ryan Blaney's got a good handle on this track. The car has been decent, but he's been stupid loose. His words this run.
Stupid loose. 9th place on your left, 14th on the right. Now we've got some drivers up toward the front that have not had a good finish all year. They've run well, but they've not done well, and that list is headlined by Kyle Busch, who's our race leader. Jimmy Johnson's up in the top 10 right now as well. Austin Dillon back in 16th, Earnhardt in 17th. Ryan Newman's in the top 10, trying to get his first top 10 finish of the year.
I'm here to demonstrate the incredible stopping power of Duralast GT brake pads. And that is Joey Logano, coming at me at more than 200 miles per hour. But I'm not nervous. They're just like brake pads we sell at AutoZone. They got carbon fiber technology and a V-slot design which reduces wear and increases stopping power.
Introducing the new line of Duralast GT brakes.
Woo! Ha! Nailed it!
Proven tough from the tracks to the streets. Sold only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I was made in the shadows of greatness, shaped by the hands of legacy, forged in the fires of racing. I've been challenged, tested, and proven. what's on that track are off. The truth is, what you're made of is what you're made to do.
Will the all-new KFC Georgia Gold chicken with its great tasting honey mustard barbecue sauce make you rich and successful? I don't know. It's finger-licking gold.
In Los Angeles, fame is what everyone is after.
Take out that game, Superman.
We just drive 200 miles per hour to get it.
.74 laps to go. Kyle Busch leading Brad Keselowski by 2.3 seconds. And that gap is growing, Matt.
Mike, when you look at Brad Keselowski's day, huge challenges with the team radio during stage 1 and 2. Intermittent where it was like a mic was left open and no one could hear. They went back and forth to different channels, finally solved it. The most recent issue, Brad just came on the radio and said, I have a vibration. The team have their helmets on. The tires are aired up in case he decides to hit pit road.
One thing I noticed, he's got a lot of brake dust. If you look at that right front wheel, he's got a lot of brake dust on that wheel. He's using a lot of brake. Could be a brake problem. Could be a warped rotor, you know, something like that.
And we anticipated on these longer runs towards the end of the race that brakes were going to be a big issue.
Here's Ryan Newman on the outside, trying to pick up his first top 10 finish of the year.
See, a hot day, slick track, it compliments that guy right there in that 31 car. He goes, man.
You know what he does on off days? Farms. Got a big spread there north of Charlotte, and he works it.
That's what I was going to say. He's tough.
Yes.
He's really tough, and he shows it all the time towards the end of these races, especially a tough, hot race like this. Here's somebody coming to the front, Denny Hamlin. How many cars does he have to pass today?
All of them.
I think he has the record. Has the record right now.
I'm wondering if Logano's not having some of the same potential brake issues or issues. You've seen a lot of brake dust on the front wheels of that 22 car as well, causing him to fade.
As we did yesterday in practice, we saw a wheel that looked just like that. It just come off the car. And I believe we were told by the pit reporters that it was after just 25 laps of practice. So it might be the way their brakes are adjusted, or just might be a characteristic of that particular brake pad.
It just appears to me like Joey Logano is protecting something right now. He's driving very easy into the corner. He's just, you can tell he doesn't have that normal aggressiveness style that you typically see out of Joey Logano, and I just wonder if he's not feeling something.
Well, he's back in what, 17th place, Vince?
Yeah, Jeff, you hit the nail right on the head. The longer the run goes, the edgier the brakes get for Joey Logano.
Have they opened up the brake ducts on that car at all? I know Larry, do you remember if they did or not? Did they get any air to them?
Yeah, we showed it. They opened up the right side, but hell, I opened them all up.
That's what I say. What's the problem? You got a brake problem. That gun.
Well, I will say he was out front at the beginning of this race, kind of having a commanding run and lead. When they pulled that tape, he lost some of his performance. So I think they're so afraid of losing some of that performance. But right now they need to be worried about brakes.
Now here's Martin Truex, last week's winner. The 78, he's fought his way back into the top 10 after a 21-second pit stop at lap 78. Here's Truex fighting Blaney for ninth.
And it's taken him that long to get back to the top 10.
And Ricky Stenhouse is right there.
They tuned him up that last time in. I can tell you, he's been going somewhere. That's the best run I've seen Ricky have in a while.
Truex edges ahead of Blaney, picks up ninth place. This is happening 12.5 seconds behind leader Kyle Busch.
Stenhouse's last top 10 was October of last year.
Wow.
Talladega.
Well, he needs one more spot.
He's moving. Got the car today.
Yeah, keep doing what he's doing. Boy, that car looks good. He's driving with some confidence. And able to work around the racetrack. Look how he goes up high right here. But it's not going to come easy. He's got McMurray stalking him from behind.
Ricky's lap times are within 1/10 of a second of the race leader, Kyle Busch.
Closing up on the back of Blaney right here, but boy, those brakes, everybody's using a lot of brake. You look at the wheels on the right, on the front of that 21 car, they're black from brake dust.
Fastest car on the track the last lap, Ryan Newman in 8th place. There's your leader. 3 seconds in front of Brad Keselowski. You can see how that gap has grown incrementally over the last few laps.
Mike, this is when I always watch the end of these races, particularly a hot race like today. It always tells me who's in the best physical condition. The guys that are in the best shape, the guys that work out, the guys that work hard, those are the guys that excel on a day like today, particularly at the end of a race like this.
140 degrees, and that's high up in the car.
It's like sitting in a sauna all day long.
Yeah, that's why it's so important to make sure what we documented with Kurt Busch, you got to have all the fans, all the power to be able to switch those fans up, blow a little bit of air to the back of the seat, inside the helmet. It's not a lot, doesn't cool you down a lot, but boy, every little bit makes a big difference, as well as hydration. Staying hydrated on a day like today when it's this hot, as well as the dry desert air.
10th place.
Easily makes that pass. Great job, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And here,
he's jacked up right now, but
comes
he's
McMurray.
going.
Here's what set that up. Blaney into the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Has to chase it up the hill.
Gosh.
Whoa!
He almost spun that baby out. Good job, Blaney. That thing was gone.
Hang on, Sloopy.
Well, they documented earlier about how loose his car is.
That barrel,
yep.
He ain't kidding.
Kyle Busch in front of Brad Keselowski. That gap is shortening as Busch gets into lap traffic.
Getting food to hungry older Americans cannot stop, and it won't. Hey, these are our parents and our grandparents out there. Let's start talking about how we can really get to the root of the problem.
Hey, we hear you. Fighting hunger doesn't stop here. I'm working with AARP Foundation's Drive to End Hunger team to change the national conversation around hunger, bring experts together, and make programs better than ever. If you don't think we're in this together when you think AARP, then you don't know ARP. Learn more at aarp.org/possibilities.
Every lap timed to 100th of a second. Every gallon measured down to the last drop. Every tire holding till its last tread. Each moment building with pressure. But no matter the precision put into a car or a race, the path to victory is through total chaos.
Unbelievable.
Get the ball inside early. We're just moments away from adding a new chapter to college basketball's most storied rivalry.
It's time to step up.
And the stakes are very simple.
Time to make our move.
The Maps the U.S. cannot afford to lose.
Time to believe. Time to win. Team USA battles Honduras. A huge night of World Cup qualifiers with Mexico versus Costa Rica at 8 and USA versus Honduras at 10:30. Friday on FS1.
56 laps to go in Phoenix. Kyle Busch leading. Bit of social media. A lot of trouble. Turn 2, car in the wall. We're under caution. That is Cole Witt. Cole Witt in the fence in turn 2. Brings out the caution at lap 2:57. 50.
What do you laugh at? We're just saying, well, that 20 car is the only one that's about a blown bead, and then Jeff said, just wait.
Well, I just felt like this is the first long run that we've really had in a while. You can see right there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, as you get to the later stages of these, the race like this, and you have that kind of a long run,
man,
it's just going to be so hard for those brakes not to contribute to something like this. And maybe he made contact with another driver. We don't really know.
So see if you can break the code as we listened in on Kyle Busch just before this caution.
I'm thinking Ohio here. Ohio. Might come into green flag stop. We could use a cushion.
Well, that has nothing to do with NASCAR goes west.
Yeah.
So that's Ohio.
It's not Omaha, it's Ohio.
But it is code.
It's always by state. So, but no, obviously they have a code in their book.
Pretty sure it means 4 tires.
Matt.
And looking at the 2 car making its way down pit road, remember, Brad Keselowski's never won here. The only time the 2 has won, Rusty Wallace won in a rain-shortened event. The car not as good on takeoff, but Brad's pleads to come on. Jamie.
Kyle Busch in the 18, just a little bit tight in traffic. The driver and car like the clean air, 4 tires, and just a little air pressure adjustment. The 4 a little tight off. Vince?
Kyle Larson finished 3rd here in November. He pitted from the 3rd position today. He's been running up front. He says the car is really good, but he could use a little help at the beginning of the run.
eBay race off pit road. Kyle Busch. And not again. Martin Truex got stuck on the hose of Michael McDowell, the air hose of Michael McDowell's car. Good grief. Watch the 78.
Well, the hose is way out there, for heaven's sake. He can't get out behind him, and he finally
look like they're
does.
pushing that car.
And
oh my gosh, it's like a big rubber band.
You don't want to get anywhere close to that.
Ryan Blaney, too fast exiting pit road.
Is it just me, or does it look like, remember they've had clutch issues on that 78 car? It looked to me like he was having to turn the engine over with the starter to get it out of the box.
As if he'd lost the clutch.
As if he's lost the clutch again.
Kyle Larson's crew. They're in 2nd behind Kyle Busch after this round of pit stops, looking over to recap their stop.
Got to be happy with that. Coming out 2nd.
Keselowski 3rd, Harvick 4th.
Saving a little
Elliott
fuel here.
5th.
I don't really think it's necessary. What do we got? 53 laps to go, so fuel shouldn't be an issue.
Sometimes they just like to cool the engine down. Sometimes it gets really hot under caution. You come on pit road, you just turn it off just to not only fuel savings, but also just to cool everything down.
Uncontrolled tire for Landon Castle. Let's listen in on Team 78.
Well, that was great. We had a leash on her. And highest again. Yeah, there's only 30 cars on the lead lap, too, so. Oh, man. Get around to 95.
I didn't hear anything about any clutch issue.
No, but you know, that's why it's so important to pick where you pick your pit. You got to see who you're picking around. That's probably something they want to take a look at.
Also, remember, they didn't qualify good, so they didn't have many choices.
Yeah, it just shows how important the picture.
Look at this graphic. They've not gained a single spot on pit road today. For one problem and another. Wow. Kind of a victory hangover from last week, if you will. Casey Kane back in to tighten left side lug nuts on the left rear.
That's a heads-up move. And now, I'll tell you what, look at the camera. You see the GoPro camera on his helmet. So they probably went back and watched that. But also, this could be and probably is the last stop. And you might be able to have a loose lug nut earlier in the race. But if you don't have that lug nut on there tight at the end of the race when NASCAR checks it, you're going to get a big penalty.
Cut your losses.
Guys, I have some trends here. Last caution, averaged 26 laps to go. In the last 4 spring races here, it came within the final 20 laps 4 times.
All right, Chris Buescher gets the free pass. Puts 29 cars on the lead lap. Kyle Busch on the outside. We're back to green. Harvick behind him. Then Eric Jones.
Boy, Larson's trying to get under Kyle right here to push him up the hill a little bit, but he's going to get that acceleration off turn 2.
And so is Kevin Harvick on the outside. If he can get to the outside of that 42.
Chase Elliott down in the RV lot trying to gain some ground.
Well, you said be more aggressive, DW. He's listening to you.
Yeah, but he's lost a lot of ground. He was our leader not too long ago, and every pit stop and every restart, he's lost spots.
He was about 3 car widths down on the apron that time.
He holds on to 6th. Jimmy Johnson hounding him. Elliott, that is. So that dive to the bottom neither gained nor lost him spots.
Everybody's going to the bottom right now, trying to cut off a little time back there and try to close on that 2 front leaders right now. The 4 car running 3rd.
Look who's in 5th. Eric Jones.
Come on, buddy.
What a wheel man.
He's doing it today, man.
Johnson Logano for 7th.
Well, whatever issues Logano was having on that long run before, he's made some improvements. That was a power move to the outside of the 48 of Jimmie Johnson.
Yeah, I think his brakes had a chance to cool. That's all he needed, really. And maybe they pulled a little tape, or maybe he just need to get off the brakes for a few minutes.
Here's two young guys going at it. For 5th place, Chase Elliott and Erik Jones. Great battle. Here's another great battle going on. Jimmie showed Logano what could be done on the outside, and Jimmie's going to repay back that favor.
7th place. A lot of smoke from Chris Buescher's car. He was the free pass car on the caution. Cole Witz come back to pit road with damage.
Well, you hear those guys, Mike, they just pedal the cars off the corner. You'd like to mat it and drive up off there with a full head of steam, but you just can't do it.
You saw Blaney back there, and that was because of the speeding penalty. Matt?
Mike, remember, Denny Hamlin's best part about his race car up to this juncture has been on the restarts, but he's still mired there between 16th and 18th, floating back and forth. Hamlin said the last run was the best the car had been all day. They put on their last set of sticker tires. Remember, NASCAR has taken away 2 sets for the teams this year here at Phoenix.
Well, that could be big if those trends continue like Larry Mack talked about.
Ty Dillon, top 20, battling Aric Almirola for 17th now. Older brother Austin at the head of that pack in 15th.
That 18 car is pretty smooth right now. He's really getting around the racetrack nice. He's just a little bit quicker than everybody else by about a 10th. That's clean air being out front. Larson hanging tough, but that 4 car is not 4 behind either.
Seeing some smoke out of this 37. Not sure if that's a tire rub, but if it is,
we'll know soon.
We're going to find out very soon.
We'll know about the same time he does.
5 cars out of the race already. David Reagan, Greg Gaulding, Matt Kenseth, Corey LaJoie, Jeffrey Earnhardt. 44 laps to go.
It really almost looks like it's coming directly out from underneath the middle of the car. I don't know if that maybe could be some type of an oil leak.
Kasey Kahne in the 5. He's way back there because they came back in and made a second stop to tighten lug nuts. There's that smoke.
It's not too bad.
Daniel Suarez and Dale Earnhardt Jr. This is back at 13th place, Jamie.
Daniel Suarez doing a very nice job here. The first time he was ever in a Cup car was in the test here in January. First time, obviously, racing here. He did double duty, but he crashed in those early laps yesterday, so he really didn't get any kind of feel for this place. But today, they've never given up. They were mired mid-pack, and they've just been working on it, making this car better, and the feedback from Daniel has been superb, and that's why right now, 13.
Yeah, he's done a great job. You know, as he was coming up the racing ladder, his fans in Mexico knew him as Danny Suarez. He now wants to be known as Daniel Alejandro Suarez Garza.
Watching this great battle here with Jimmie Johnson, teammates, and 24 Chase Elliott going at it.
What's up with the 88, Matt?
Mike, a problem's developed for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's been trying to let off early going into the corner so he can make and turn the corner. The problem is, he says he's lost his brakes. His pedal is almost all the way to the floor. Trying to hold on to the end, but 40 laps to go, Jeff Gordon. An awful long time to try to hold out, nursing your brakes here at Phoenix.
Yeah, that's no fun as we see a change for position. 6th place, Jimmie Johnson gets by his teammate Chase Elliott.
Jimmy's had a pretty good car all day. He's been running a top 10 most of the day. Coming on pretty strong here at the very end.
Remember, Kyle Busch, Jimmie Johnson, and Ryan Newman each looking for their first top 10 finish of the year, each in the top 10 right now. Stage racing today. Kyle Larson's picked up 18 points. Chase Elliott 17 through the first few stages. Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Jamie McMurray, Logano and Johnson all in double digits, adding to your season point total.
I just like that, Mike. You work hard, you run good all day, have a little trouble maybe, then you don't go empty. You don't go home empty-handed. You go home with some points, and Heck, Fire, you might even end up higher in the points than you normally would.
I like it too, DW. We don't really know how this is going to play out at this stage of the season, but we know those types of points can really add up and make a big difference. So that's why these drivers and teams are going for it, to make sure they get every point they can through those stages.
38 laps to go. We'll take you side by side as Kyle Busch leads Kyle Larson by 1 second.
Okay, so the new Ford F-150 with its high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body just blew the doors off the competition. Now it's time to blow their tailgates off, too, by adding the new, more powerful next-generation 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine and an all-new 10-speed transmission, cranking out more power and acceleration, more efficiency at the pump, and the most torque of any half-ton pickup. This is the Ford F-150. Boom.
People know me as Dale Earnhardt Jr. race car driver, but I have many sides. In my office, they call me Boss Man. I scout the talent, close the deals, do it all with a firm handshake. Gentlemen, to others, I'm Water Cooler Dale. Have y'all seen the pictures of Janet's baby? Oh, yeah. So cute. It's so cute. Oh, man. Yes, the dimples. Unreal. For protecting your small business and more, Nationwide is on your side.
My new Georgia Gold chicken tenders at KFC make regular Gold jealous. My Georgia Gold is hand-prepared with tangy honey mustard barbecue sauce, and Gold is only gold. Get it as a chicken little sandwich, extra crispy tenders, or extra crispy chicken for a limited time. KFC, it's finger-licking gold.
Some say it's just a scribble, a couple lines strung together, maybe a dot or two. You can't always read what it says. But when someone finally asks for it, you know you've made it.
Well, this is your chance. Make it count.
Let's show what we're made out of again this season. Let's get it again.
Years from now, people will be saying, I was there for a part of history.
We're going good enough to win. Let's do it.
Let's go to the West Coast. We're at 180 miles per hour. A little traffic can turn into a real nightmare. Auto Club 400. NASCAR Goes West heads to Fontana next Sunday at 3 Eastern on Fox.
Kyle Busch has been fast in practice all weekend. Kyle Larson has finished runner-up in the last 2 races and 3 of the last 4. That's the way it sits with 32 to go, and Larson 1.4 seconds back of Busch, with Kevin Harvick third, Brad Keselowski, and Eric Jones the top 5. Now earlier, Brad Keselowski had a vibration. It went away. Here's why.
Had a wheel weight missing on your previous set, so your vibration I'm sure is gone. Okay. All the wheels were in good shape except for the wheel weight.
Well, it's good to know it wasn't a brake issue. You know, a lot of times at a track like this, you will get a little bit of shake in those wheels because of the rotors, but in this case, sounds like it was a wheel weight, so that's good. Now they got 4 fresh new tires on there. Wheel weight's all good. Good to go.
I'd call that a minor vibration if it's a wheel weight, because they don't put a lot of wheel weights.
Yeah, but you know, DW, every little thing you feel in these cars, especially as you get down to the end of the race, all of a sudden starts accumulating and heightening itself.
Yeah, well, just think about last
Ty
week.
Dillon and brother Austin Dillon, a little contact.
And Kurt Busch with battery problems early. He is right in the midst of it, fighting for 18th. Jamie.
And he's been fighting for everything. He is hot inside that car. Heat-wise, been trying to shut it off to save the batteries. But I'll tell you, he's been changing batteries each time he comes in. They've been alternating. They are out of batteries. No more charge. So Kurt, right now, hanging on. If this one doesn't work, he's not making it to the end.
Well, he's hurrying to get to the end, I can tell you that. He just went around the 13 car there rather aggressively, I say.
It's time to go, DW.
Got to stand on that baby.
Casey Kane's thinking the same thing on Ty Dillon.
Got to make it last for 29 more laps.
And we're talking about back here in 19th, 20th place. But it just shows you how hard these guys fight for every position.
There's always a race to be run, DW. Whether you're racing against your competitor for a win or for 15th, 25th, or the stopwatch. You're always racing something.
Still, there are 28 cars on the lead lap. There's your leader, Kyle Busch.
They may be racing, but they're chasing this guy.
Yes, they are.
He's been in a kind of a league of his own.
11th place. Denny Hamlin trying to get back up into the top 10. Had a cut tire in qualifying. Had a cut tire in the race.
I think this is a good day for Clint Bowyer, though. They've been needing a good run. They got a pretty decent car today. He may not be in the top 10. He's at 11th right now, but still a good run for him.
The great run I'm seeing is the one right behind Clint Bowyer, and that's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Woo. He's showing some great speed, making some good moves. It's going to be a great confidence booster for him. Now look at this. Logano took off on that restart, made some big moves, and now he's fading again.
I think it's the brakes, Jeff. He runs hard, then the brakes go away.
Allmendinger and McDowell have been battling each other, and Busch are right in the midst of it. Here's the first incident of late.
So
Michael McDowell, it's home race right there.
Now that looked to me like something. McDowell didn't like what happened prior to that. He drove in there really deep, got on his rear bumper.
Stop mirror driving me and just go. Inside here, inside.
Made some contact through the trial hole. That was the 95 of McDowell's radio saying he's mirror driving.
He was politely asking, I need to get by. You're not going this. I'm faster than you are. Let me by. So he had to bump him a couple times.
I think maybe they'll get Allmendinger's take on it Monday evening on Race Hub on FS1. Here's Stenhouse moving on Bowyer for 12th.
Mike, you know when you're holding somebody up, and you know they're not going to tolerate it very long. So you need to get out of the way.
Yeah, but you're 24 laps to go. You're racing for every position.
You're holding
every
me
point
up.
Matters.
I don't want to wreck you, but I'm going to.
It's a decision.
What, the air stop working in here? My God.
It's getting hot in here.
Yeah.
Calm down. Take a drink of water.
Turn your blowers on. Austin Dillon fighting hard with Trevor Bayne. They're on the lead lap, 19.5 back of the leader in 22nd place. And so is Paul Menard. So 3 cars right there fighting. You know, the longer we run, better Stenhouse seems to run. Keeps coming. Now here's Logano McMurray. This is for 9th place.
And opposite for Joey Logano. McMurray seems to have a pretty good car in the long runs too, but boy, Logano, I think you might be right, DW. It seems like he heats up the brakes or something happens and that car really starts fading.
I think that's the whole issue with him. He goes hard until the brakes start to fade, and then he has to back off.
Brakes are a story all up and down the radio spectrum here. We've heard that Kevin Harvick was among those talking about brakes with his team. And what can you do other than use them less?
Well, that's the biggest thing. Just coast the car in the corner a little bit. You can pump the heck out of it, but if you wear the pads down to where you really got to keep pumping, you might blow one of the pucks out of the caliper if you're not careful.
Yeah, I'll be really surprised, DW, if they're actually, these days, the brakes, the system, they have the rotors and the pads. I've not seen them wear any of those things out these days, but they can overheat them. You overheat them, boils that fluid, you start getting air in the line, in the system. What happens? It's not that Dale Jr., when he talked about being out of brakes, he's not out of brakes. He just is having to pump them, and the pedal's very long. He just doesn't have the brakes he's really comfortable with.
I just see, I think I see more brake dust on the front wheels of a lot of these cars than I'm used to seeing here. So I know they're using a lot of brakes.
Oh, they certainly are.
We're inside 20 to go, and Denny Hamlin is back inside the top 10. He has really had to work today. Let's look upper right. Heavy braking on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Trail breaks it a bit into the corner. And
Mike, you were talking about Denny Hamlin. Just think about last week. He struggled all last week and ended up with a top 10 finish after a great late race run like he's having here right now. So seems like that's kind of a pattern for this team over the last couple, 3 weeks.
Well, I know he's thinking this, the team's thinking this. Just think if he would have started up towards the front. If he would have started in the top 5 or 6 on this restart, I think he could be a real threat for the win.
Qualified 19th, but had to start last because they had to replace a tire that had a puncture, and he could not start on the tires on which he qualified. So you see him all the way from 39th come up, and then he cuts a tire.
Cuts a tire, yeah.
Right rear cut down. They had to make a stop. And that looks like the Estrella Mountains just behind us right there.
It looks like that hump in the back straightaway.
I don't think Denny Hamlin's much of a mountain climber, but he's been climbing it today.
Oh, here we
go. I don't like the looks of this.
Is over yet.
McDowell and Allmendinger. Michael McDowell is from Phoenix. Levine Family Racing, they've committed to run the whole schedule this year. They have a charter, so they have guaranteed income. He's trying to give his hometown fans and his team a good showing. A.J. Allmendinger's been working his tail off, shifting that car back and forth, and trying to give his team, now a two-car team, a good finish.
And 26 and 27, so they're fighting for...
And as he runs these laps, he's running that high lane, forcing McDowell to go to the inside. And McDowell can probably get there. He just is having a hard time completing the pass. What's that do? Boy, that just really frustrates you, especially in this heat.
I've got a feeling if it comes down to it, he might be able to make that pass. It may not be clean, but he might be able to do it.
15 to go for Kyle Busch.
Now, Kyle Busch is sitting there hoping there is absolutely no caution. Let's finish this thing off. Let's get to the end. I don't want to have to do another restart.
And with half a lap to go last week in Vegas, he was in position for a top 3 finish.
Yes, sir.
Top 4. Didn't turn out that way.
Boy, heck of a battle going on here. I just saw the 31 Ryan Newman run the high line, not just there in 1 and 2, but the last time through 3 and 4. Let's see if he can make that high line work this time on the outside of Chase Elliott.
He'll just worry him to death.
Yeah, he takes a longer way around, but look at the run that he gets off the corner right here, right to his rear bumper.
Chase will get, if he gets out there and he gets a nose up there, Chase will probably give him some room.
Ever since Chase got a little loose right there going into turn 1, but ever since Chase Elliott lost that lead, his car's just not quite been the same as 31 makes that move on the outside. He's going to complete the pass.
You get up on the outside and get that run off turn 2. That guy on the bottom's hurt.
Yeah, I saw Chase correct. The back end stepped out on him getting into turn 1. Lost the momentum.
That moves Newman up to 7th. Right behind Jimmy Johnson, both seeking their first top 10 finish of the year, as is race leader Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I thought Alan Gustafson, the crew chief on that 24, might get his 4th win here with 4 different drivers, but not going to happen today. You won here with him.
Yeah,
Mark Martin did, and Kyle Busch did.
Alan is phenomenal on these flat tracks like here at Phoenix. He's won with every driver that's ever driven one of his race cars.
Kyle Larson running in second, 2.5 back with 11 laps to go.
Kyle Larson.
Doing anything different than me? No, we just started to run the line that you're running over to 3 and 4. He's just able to get to the corner a little harder.
Just think about Kyle Larson running second. I mean, what's he had? He finished 3rd here last year, 2nd at Homestead. He's been 2nd, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. I mean, all year long.
That kind of consistency is going to turn into wins. It just has to. It will. They will hit on something. They're so close.
10 laps to go.
These are nail biters here. This is when you sit on the pit box and hope nothing happens.
And we're getting into that zone where tire and brake heat is going to be a concern. And a long green flag run.
You know, guys, if Kyle Busch can close this deal, I'm going to give a big credit to his pit crew. Just look right here. They have gained or maintained position almost all day, but the real key was this stop right here. That's what got him the lead and led him the lane choice, and he's pretty much led ever since then.
Yeah, Larry, we've seen everybody that gets out front, you can really kind of control and dominate the restarts as well as these laps after, and it's just so hard to get up to that leader and make that pass. We saw some of that happen maybe earlier in the race, but boy, when you get somebody like Kyle Busch and this 18 team, they are so strong, not just here but everywhere. It's going to be hard to beat these guys when they're that good on pit road.
He's such a phenomenal restart. I love to watch him on restarts because he will go where nobody else would dare. And that's what makes him every time there's a restart, you know he's going to pick up spots.
I just can't help but think about this. We had the incident last week with Joey Logano and Kyle Busch. They come here. Who's on the pole? Joey Logano. Who's possibly going to win this race? I know it's not over yet. Kyle Busch in position to do that. Amazing how that motivates
and
you.
you know what that means? All is forgiven.
Oh, I wouldn't say all.
Not quite yet.
Oh,
Jamie?
Maybe next week.
I talked to Kyle's crew chief this morning, and he said this year, with a brand new car in the 2018 Camry, the new rule package, aero package, we're not sure how long it'll take to get that victory because it's so different. And we have the 22, I think, blowing up. Guys are blow tired.
Turn 1, Joey Logano.
There if you can, got some coming.
Most likely.
Two more coming.
Caution out with 6 laps to go.
Not what Samantha Bush and Kyle Busch and that 18 team wanted to see, more than 22 of Joey Logano. I heard that thing explode on the front straightaway.
We'd had a long green flag run and just getting into that danger zone where we're concerned about those right fronts from excessive brake heat and melting the bead of the tire.
Oh, yeah, you can see it's going down right there. Bam. Oh, my gosh. Hard hits. Woo.
Joey was 11.
Right front.
Look at these sudden impacts.
Hold it up there if you can, got some coming.
Now, what I found so interesting
Two more coming.
about that is you could see in his hands as soon as he let off the gas and got on the brakes and that tire loaded up, boom, that's when it went.
Pit road is open. Here come the leaders, Matt.
And Mike Brad Keselowski hits pit road in the top 5. His team talking about making it for the short run, obviously pressured up the tires. Looks like a 2-tire stop here, Jamie, on the 2.
And Adam Stevens asked Kyle, okay, what do you need? And he said, yeah. And he took a deep breath. It was right sides. Harvick, they said, I need tires, not sure how many. It's right sides, Vince.
The short run hasn't been the strength for Kyle Larson. Just 2 tires here. We'll see what he has to the finish.
Kyle Larson at the end of pit road.
Wow. Larson!
2 tires.
All the way down.
But
for Kurt Busch,
they're not going to be the leaders. There's 3 cars that I saw stay on track, the 31, the 17, and the 78.
So Ryan Newman and Ricky Stenhouse will be up front on the restart along with Martin Truex.
Probably a green-white checkered here, if I had to guess. You know, right now there's 4 laps to go. Very well could only be 2 laps to go or 1 when we get this track cleaned up.
Yeah, now Kurt Busch pulled out to avoid his brother, and that's why he got no tires. There's your leader pulling out.
Kind of reminds me of the finish last year, Mike. Remember, I think Kevin Harvick stayed out. Carl Edwards got tires. Had a heck of a finish.
I mean, this is what happens when you take 2 tires. You get on in your box in such a hurry you can get out, but that's the problem. There's still cars coming down pit road that are trying to get into their box, so you have to be really careful.
And Kyle Busch's reaction to the caution flag.
Right on time. Deep breath. They blew a tire going into 1. Oh, trust me, I know.
Okay.
So Joey Logano out of the race. Kyle Busch leading the race up until this round of pit stops, which leaves Ryan Newman, Ricky Stenhouse, and Martin Truex up front. Then with 2 tires, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott. Seems like in every headline you have Busch, Logano, or Logano and Busch.
Yeah.
They're taking all the headlines, even away from the winners these days.
Now there's Joey with Todd Gordon. He's okay. Just came and walked across the pit wall.
I think brake issues is really what bit him. Once he started having brake trouble, he just never was the same.
It's about to possibly steal some headlines. That's the guy on your screen right now, Ryan Newman. Now I know the tires are old, but they only have to really make, what, 2 laps under green. It's going to be tough for those 2 tires to get all the way up there, but boy, it's going to be a lot of fun watching.
So your front row will be Richard Childress Racing, 112 races since their last win. Roush Fenway Racing, 95 races since their last win. as we go to overtime.
I think the one that we're really going to have to watch here, and that's Kyle Larson. He's on the outside, second row in 4th position. He has the 2 fresher tires, and that outside lane we've seen be really, really important on the restarts.
Vince.
Glad Joey's okay and out and walked away, but hard hit. Brake issues ultimately?
No, the brakes are fine. There at the end just flew right front. Probably just overheated the bead, I'm sure is what it was. But yeah, there's not much you can do when the right front blows out and you're kind of looking at that sharp corner. So unfortunate. We had a good car at the beginning of the race and then just kind of fell off, and after we got our pit road speeding penalty, and it's hard for us to get back up there, and we're getting closer, but our long run speed's just off, and we got to figure out how to get faster here on the long run.
Mike. Thanks, Vince. Joey Logano out of the race. And now there you see the overtime line.
Just coming out of the dog leg or trial on the back straightaway. So that's where we've got to get to after we get the green.
So we go to overtime, sponsored by Credit One Bank. It's a 2-lap shootout. A green, white checker.
This is about as interesting as I think it can get.
It really is.
This is crazy.
So the first 3 cars, just remember, they stayed out. They're on older tires. 4th place, Kyle Larson, 2 tires, and from there on back, pretty much 2 tires.
And Kyle Busch is pinned down on the inside.
Watch how aggressive he's going to be. He's going to be 3 wide when we go down into turn 1.
Green flag.
A big mess down here in turn 1.
Newman gets a big jump.
Yeah, but that's going to open the door for Larson with those 2 fresh tires. Oh no, that's 17 got in the side of 42.
They're okay. They come off the corner hard.
Here comes that 18 down on the inside.
McMurray slowing to the back.
Watch that 18 go into turn 3.
Inside Stenhouse.
Well, it's
way inside.
It's stuck.
Yeah, but so did the 42 of Kyle Larson. He's going to get a big run here off of turn 4.
And we're coming to the white flag. 1 to go.
Keselowski inside Harvick. Working on Stenhouse.
Oh, Larson got a little bit loose, but still gaining from the 31 of Newman.
Newman is set sail, boys. I tell you, he's got a nice lead. They're not going to catch him.
3 wide mid-pack, but out front, Ryan Newman, Kyle Larson to be second again.
So close, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Off turn 4. Hello, Newman. Ryan Newman wins for Richard Childress Racing. Larson, Kyle Busch. A photo finish for Keselowski and Stenhouse. Give 4th to Stenhouse, 5th to Keselowski, 6th to Harvick, Suarez, Eric Jones, Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, the top 10.
Nice call by Luke Lambert. I mean, that was a gamble.
That's Richard Childress.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
Broke a long streak.
Well, he won Indy.
Yeah, that was his last win, July 2013. It's his 18th Cup win and his 552nd start. His 2nd victory at Phoenix. And for Richard Childress Racing, their 106th career win and their 6th win here. Luke Lambert gambled here to get Elliott Sadler a win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Taking home the checkered flag, Ryan Newman is today's Sunoco fueling victory.
Didn't forget how to do burnouts.
You never forget how to celebrate a win.
It's all good.
Whether it's your first time or 70th time, doesn't matter. That's fun. I'm so happy for Richard Childress and Richard Childress Racing. Boy, they have had some struggles in recent years, and that's got to feel really good.
And again, the best car doesn't go to victory lane, or the best car all day doesn't go to victory lane. The best car for the last 2 laps did.
Boy, I tell you what, though, that top 10 is very interesting.
So difficult. If you're the leader, what call you make.
Well, here's today's 5-hour energy, extra strength, big move of the race is that big restart by the Rocket, Ryan Newman.
But this was important right here. Larson turns down on in front of the 17. 17 drove in there very deep. I think if the 42 of Larson had stayed wide right there, I really think he would have been a lot closer to the 31 of Newman. But Newman just shot out there to get the lead.
What's that 18 go down on the apron to pass the 17 right there? That was close.
He saw an opening. I understand why he wanted to go there.
Should have stayed in 3rd gear a little bit longer. Might have could have used that power. Relief.
Luke Lambert celebrates, and Ryan Newman heads for victory lane in Phoenix.
A stunning upset in Phoenix, Arizona. The 31 car, Ryan Newman in Las Vegas. The odds were 45-1 that he would win this race. And for Richard Childress Racing, the last win for him came at this track in 2013, and Kevin Harvick was his driver then. Ryan Newman's the king now of Arizona. Our Vince Welch down there for the celebration.
In the desert, the drought comes to an end for Richard Childress Racing and Ryan Newman. It's been a long time. How good does it feel to be back here in Victory Lane?
I lost count. That's how long it's been. Got to thank Granger and Caterpillar, Coca-Cola, Monster Energy for supporting our series, and Chevrolet, all the people, Kalahari, that help us out, Aggressive Hydraulics. The list goes on and on. But, man, just gutsy call by Luke. I called for 2 tires, and he called for none. And I've won more races with no tires than I have with 4. So just proud of these guys. We had a good car all day, kept it out of trouble, and collected in the end.
A couple of years ago, you used up Larson to make the chase. Were you thinking about that at all as he was chasing you down?
I went into 3, trust me. I went into 3 looking at my 8-post mirror. I knew he was down there, but, you know, it took my car forever to get going, and we liked air in the tires, so I'm spent, man. I had the chills at lap 150, and I'm done.
Ryan Newman, he's done, but he's done in Victory Lane.
Vince, I feel like I'm starting to interview Harry Gant Jr. every week, another second-place finish for Kyle Larson. And you had a great Doug Wolfgang move going down into turn 1. Did you not know he was dive bombing you?
Yeah, my spotter said clear, and you know, I started turning down. I guess I just didn't anticipate him driving in as far as he did. So you know, maybe I should have just ran the middle lane there, and just to be safe. But all in all, you know, it was a good effort for our Credit One Bank Chevy. And you know, dang it, I wish I wouldn't have got sideways there in the middle 1 and 2, and I would have stayed close enough to Newman that I probably would have got him down in 3 and 4 coming to the white. So you never know, though. You know, that's how the races play out. You know, maybe I made a mistake there in the 1, but this one stings because I felt like I was in the best spot out of anybody there, line up 4th on 2 tires. So, but you know, it's really, really cool to be the point leader right now. That was a goal of mine going in today. So thanks to everybody at Chip Ganassi Racing for all your hard work. We'll hopefully continue to have this speed in our race cars and maybe close some of these races out.
Thanks, Kyle. Chris?
All right, thank you very much. So the 3rd straight second-place finish for Kyle Larson. For the 4th time in the 4 races, the leader with 7 laps to go has not won. But what changed everything, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano joined at the hip even when they're separated, because with Kyle Busch leading, Logano has a problem bringing out the caution.
Down into turn 1, melts the right front tire bead, and into the wall hard he goes. And the irony of this, causing the caution that eventually cost Kyle Busch the win.
And that is his wife. Frustrated, Kyle Busch led the most laps, but on the losing end, our Jamie Little is with the driver of the 18.
Well, Kyle Busch was the best car today, led the most laps. You ended up getting your best finish of the season, but at the end, it just didn't turn your way. What's your takeaway from today, Kyle?
Everything's great. We got a top 5. That's what we set out to do here today. We got a 3rd, so we should be pumped about that. And the way the Skittles Camry ran today, you know, it was just awesome there at the end. Guys made some really good calls on it all day long. Adam and the guys did a good job about being able to make some good adjustments and make it feel better for me. Once we got out front, thanks to my pit crew, that car really liked clean air. So, you know, we fought a little bit in traffic early on in the race, but we were mindful of that, and we just kind of bided our time and got up to the front when we did. And then we had a little miscue there on pit road with Kurt, and you know, from there was just was too many cars that stayed out. You know, if it was only 2 that stayed out, maybe, but we definitely needed the outside like Larson had. But you know, overall, we should be proud of our run today, and we move on.
Thanks, Kyle.
Appreciate Kyle chatting with us. Everything's great. Everything's even greater for Ryan Newman. He started 22nd, never lower than 21st, led the final 6 laps in overtime. He's chilling with a Coke here in Arizona. Congratulations to the Coca-Cola Racing family driver Ryan Newman and Richard Childress Racing in their Chevrolet for the dramatic win in the desert. Said he was spent on lap 150, had the chills, but enough in victory lane. Puts that sticker on. It's nearly 4 years since Ryan Newman's last win with Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers. Glad you're watching NASCAR on Fox. That's worth a Coke and a smile. Some interesting strategy at the end. Obviously, Kyle Busch can't help the caution coming out, but could he have done anything differently under the circumstances? We heard his point of view.
Well, he just needed more people to pit. And what a great call by Luke Lambert and that 31 team. They knew they had a fast car, Chris. It was so good on the long run. Don't discount this win by Ryan Newman. He drove up to 7th position on that long run near the end of the race, proving he had a fast car, confident on that restart. Great call by the team.
Chevys have won the last 2 races. The first 2 of the season went to Fords. The best finishing Fords in this race today, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 4th, followed by Brad Keselowski. Let's check in with Jamie. Who's with Ricky?
Well, the 17 came to life that second half of the race. We were watching you just plugging away. You finished 4th today. How good or how much better did the car get?
You know, Brian made a lot of adjustments overnight to make our Fastenal Ford where it was. We were really good on long runs. That's how we were at the test. You know, we finally got track position there at the end. I had to pass a ton of cars to get it. But, you know, it was a fun, solid day, being able to pass cars instead of just kind of riding around. So I was really bummed. I was hoping the best fastener company was going to win today. But we missed it by a little bit, but definitely something to build on for this Fastenal team.
All right, thanks, Ricky. And nice to see a Roush Ford have some success. Looking at the points after 4 races of 36, Kyle Larson referenced it, Michael. He's your points leader, even though he's yet to win a race. Those 3 second-place finishes, Keselowski and Kyle Larson, the only 2 drivers to have stage points or finish in the stages for every race this year.
I want playoff points, Chris, and you get those by winning. That win today by Ryan Newman, to me, is more important than the point lead for Kyle Larson.
And for Ryan Newman, 7 times he's been in the playoffs, NASCAR's Chaser playoffs. He'll be back in again with a victory if he can hang in there. Let's head upstairs, get some final thoughts from Darrell, Jeff, and Mike.
Well, it all came down to the final restart. Did Kyle Larson do everything he could do?
Well, I'm so impressed with Kyle Larson and Chip Ganassi Racing with that number 42 team. They were in the perfect position in that outside row with 2 fresh tires on the right side. I felt like he just dove in there, and the spotter said clear, but he couldn't anticipate the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. driving up into the inside lane like that. I think he said it in his interview. If he had just stayed in that middle lane, probably would have had a great shot at getting by the leader 31 of Ryan Newman there to get the win.
Did Kyle Busch do everything he could do on the last
Well,
restart?
I kind of knew he was doing when he had to restart on the inside 5th. That was hard for him to maneuver to get to the front. He's one of the best restarters out there. But yeah, I've been there, done that. You're sitting there with 10 to go, with please no caution. 5 to go, please no caution. Caution.
Ryan Newman, right place, right time. Beep, beep. Run away.
The gamble and the conviction of the veteran Ryan Newman and his team in victory lane. So now we go on to Southern California, the Auto Club Speedway. Ryan Newman has never won there in his career. 3rd, his best finish. Jimmy Johnson has dominated. Kyle Busch has won there.
Intense speed. That's what I'm looking for next week, Chris. That's a 2-mile sweeping oval. And when you go down to the corners, the spoiler on the back of this car is about this tall. That means no drag. Well over 200 miles an hour down in the corner, and it's wide. We'll see 3-4 wide racing. I love California.
Well, we saw interesting racing today. It was more leaders and more lead changes in the Phoenix race than we saw last year, and I don't think anybody expected. That's why you never know at the end how it's going to turn out.
I'm just so happy for Richard Childress. He gives us heart and soul to this team. They've been on a bit of a dry spell, to say the least. Ryan Newman, that's a champion of this event, and he is spent. He gave all he got behind the wheel of that car.
We'll see if it can be Toyota's turn in victory lane when we head to Southern California tonight on Fox. Bob's Burgers, The Simpsons, The Last Man on Earth, and Victory Lane over on FS1. We'll hear more from Ryan Newman, how they pulled off the magic in NASCAR. Next Sunday, note the time from the Auto Club 400 at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. For Michael Waltrip, I'm Chris Myers from the desert in Arizona. Thanks for being a part of NASCAR on Fox.